avoid missing out on the next show, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Brendan's going to help you over in the big
guys.
desk.
Back to the upside we go here. 2 o'clock, welcome back in. Couple hours left to go on what's turning into. I mean, we're 0.5% away from being positive on the day here once again for both the NASDAQ and the S&P. Yeah, that was the dollar on an intraday basis. Wanted to go down to a shorter time frame just to highlight what a wild day it's been for currencies after that number comes out at 8:30 this morning. Huge run up in the dollar. We've come all the way back in and then some. We're now negative on the session, or just went back to positive, but break even after what was a wild morning. That's a 5-minute chart. If you zoom out a little bit, you'll get a better idea here of now a red USD on the day. Again, if you missed it early on this morning, preliminary GDP reading comes in much lower than expected, 1.6% versus 2.8, I think it was. I'll double check in a second, but well below what was expected for that early GDP look for the quarter. Remember, it's not the final number, so that's the one that actually counts. Big tech getting hurt in quite a big way here. Meta down 10.8%, obviously lower than that to start. Microsoft 2.7, Google red as well, but chips offsetting a lot of that. Nvidia leading 4%, AMD, Intel, both with nice days as well. Even Micron there, 0.8 to the upside. Offsetting some of this weakness, Amazon as well, red on the day. Pretty mixed board right across most of it, 2.5%. Nice to see for Tesla right to the upside. Remember, yeah, we're getting more inflation data coming out tomorrow. So if we have, here's the preliminary GDP this morning, 1.6%. The prior 3.4% gets cut in half. For the reading over reading number, at least for the GDP side of things. Initial jobless claims then also comes out downside, 207. Prior was 212. Continuing claims 1.7 versus basically 1.8 last week. So everything pointing to the downside. That PCE number you see there is a quarterly number, also preliminary, also downside, ahead of what could be coming up tomorrow. Very important for this number. The prior 0.3 to the upside, I think the expectations right now, I'll double check, but are 0.3 for this one as well. Coming up tomorrow morning, going to be very closely watched for the overall market. Nice V-bottom forming down here for the SPY, at least now just 0.4 in negative territory. The NASDAQ still about 0.5% to go, but it was all about this one this morning. Huge move to the downside after the close yesterday. We continue, guys, to grind back higher here for Meta.
Go. Yeah, we're short. What's up, everybody? Yeah, we are. I mean, Meta, what a trip.
Wild.
What a damn trip right now on Meta. And we've made, like, we were down. And you guys know that off the jump there. But Meta, wow, what a day, what a ride here. Yeah, let's fix those bears ASAP. But we've just been short a little bit here. So we tweeted out here this morning the short. You guys saw me here. It was great. We lost right here at 430. That's what we should have got away from it. Able to make a little bit back, but then went red up here once it broke 440. Then we were, for some reason, smart enough to switch it to the longs. Man, when you get a pullback into VWAP off earnings, bang, we take that long right there at 430. We flipped the script. We went short 430, then we went long 430. That paid off to where we got out right here, 436.50 at $6.50. Then we just shorted again, 441. That's a 438 and out. We just reshorted again and out. We have an out coming at 441 if we break higher, but Meta has been just unbelievable. We've written down that we wanted to get longer in our long-term account, and unfortunately, we were pretty good at getting out of it in the first place, up at the top, but we have not bought back in. So will this name go to $480 tomorrow is the question that I want to know. But right now, it is ripping upside there.
What up, Randy?
Never can get enough Kalshi and can never get enough Randy.
You always need more Randy. But
Randy bought a whole bunch of Fisker shares today.
Fisker made a move.
No, he did not.
No, apparently
we were looking at Fisker. Remember, it was going 4 cents, and you're like 4.5 cents. It was like up 10%. And then,
well, look, man, it's a 10% move when it goes half a penny.
Like, you just put a bid out and it shoots
But apparently,
up.
according to them, multiple other automotive names were interested in Fisker. So my litmus is if I put a stink bid in a stock that I'm trying to pick up in this quote-unquote market pullback, and I'm using air quotes in there, then you should just buy the open on whatever that is. It's like the second time in a row that I felt like I was going to get a dip buy in a stock, and then the opposite happens. The lesson of the day, we already talked about it, and shorted 430, and if I just left it at the one short into VWAP, that's all you had to do. It gained to 430, bounced off VWAP, I trailed it out, I reloaded it, and then I went multiple times at 440 as well. Be slightly up, but it could have been a one and done. And then once it broke this, maybe thought about a long somewhere. So the only long position I have on, I had two actually. I have Alibaba. I was in the IPO off the 38 level, but it wasn't. I don't think it was that great, and I wasn't a huge fan of. I don't know. They haven't been the same as they used to be, the way we used to trade them off the opening print. But there were some opportunities in it, and then it gave up to 38 level. But Meta, it was SSR, and it turns out that it was just an SSR bounce play. That's about it.
All right, we'll keep going. Meta back to the upside, as we were saying. We'll keep an eye on how things are shaping up here this afternoon for both Microsoft and Google. Remember, to come after the close tonight. Microsoft a little bit better off, or was it Google? No, it was Google. That was a little bit better off than Microsoft. When I sat down here, I noticed that this afternoon about to take out the high. But yeah, both hit on this number after the close yesterday from Meta.
Yeah, with respect to Alphabet, what I'll be listening for obviously is digital ad sales to see if they did as well as Meta. It really wasn't Meta. It wasn't digital ad sales that sent Meta down. So just want to see how that does. Obviously, with respect to Microsoft, I want to hear what their new expansion in Asia is going to look like from Satya Nadella, as well as their AI. What do they have to say about ChatGPT or any idea of how to monetize it?
At this point, we haven't heard yet, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I was just noticing this as well. 300 billion of market cap wiped off the table today for the Mag 7 on these moves.
I mean,
so hold on a second. I'm not a charter market technician, but there's got to be a name for this at the open, right? Like, because it's not V-shaped. This is Google, by the way. It's not V-shaped because, like, by the point it gets to here, like, there's your V-shaped recovery, and then there's like whatever the heck else happens when it breaks it out. Maybe it's a V-shape and a breakout, or some cool name that you guys want to give it. And the theme of the day is, if you're wrong, stop being wrong. Did it flip into the long? That didn't mean to rhyme, but look at VWAP hold here. So when we talk about trading setups, a wipeout bottom into higher lows off VWAP that breaks out the top, it's one thing to short it underneath my resistance levels, but when it does this and breaks out the top, should have just been long, man. It is what it is. But Google down 2% going into earnings. Do we think it's going to be great? I don't know. I feel like they're in the same bucket, not a similar bucket to what happened with Meta, where you're going to need a little bit of perfection. So I could see them pulling back. I am in Amazon, so I'm just going to quickly go over that one. The difference with Amazon, and why I kind of am still sort of sticking with shorting off the highs, is the overall trend. Like, you've got this lower high breakdown thing happening underneath 173.5 on Amazon. And so it's still right underneath that level. And as long as it's rejecting this top, the daily chart still has this one underneath key levels. Everything else, I mean, the market's probably going to go green today. I mean, the obvious poll is, will the market get green today? And I have a feeling what most people are going to say.
I cannot believe that poll is what it is.
It's wild.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Brendan mentioned about all this market cap being wiped off, I feel like it's probably,
right.
That number was probably from this morning, because it feels to me like we're getting like only down 0.5 right now. I mean, what a bounce back in this market. I'm taking this opportunity to try to short against that high. So my big position right now, and it could get busted, is this TQs. We've just taken a whole bunch out right here as we bounced off of, again, that 50-period moving average. So we just got back in, but I'm going to slip this gone as soon as we take that high. So if the market, I mean, you can look at someone said to Adara, like, why are you looking at the TQQs when you should be looking at the Qs or whatever? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm trading this. So here I am looking at these levels. So, I mean, as long as you're using longer term charts or whatever your time frame is, and you're keeping the same instrument, I think it's fine. And, you got to know that this is triple levered. So the market's only down half right now, but this name is down 1.5. So I feel like as long as you're risk managing and you're familiar with it, I'd just be interested to hear if that trader was still in the chat so I could just see what that conversation was about, because
I wasn't sure what that was about.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I just wanted to see what that was about, because maybe I could help address it, or maybe there's something that I'm missing as well. And I think as a swing trader or holding a levered product long term, we know that does not result in the returns that you think. If you hold a 3 times NASDAQ and you hold it for 1 year, you're going to look back. The NASDAQ's going to go up 20%. You're going to be like, yeah, I made 60%, but you're not. It's going to be in the 40s or something.
That decay is going to kill you. But for day trading, there is no difference.
That's why I just wanted to see if they were still there.
It's just it's a preference thing. It's a comfortable thing. Whatever.
What did you choose?
Well,
in the chat, if everybody, you got to be subscribed and be part of the chat.
I'm short Amazon.
I'm going to say no.
I said no.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously chalk here. It's kind of like the Bears taking Caleb Williams, but at the same time, I just wondered if we are getting to a spot right now.
You can't make any money betting on Caleb one.
No. He's minus 30,000 or something right now. Like you have to bet $30,000 that you make $100.
Completely insane.
But right there, yeah, I think that's what it was on FanDuel. It was so ridiculous. The interesting thing is the Herbert stuff, maybe. That's the only thing that I'm
Let's
interested
go,
in right
Chargers.
now.
Do something fun.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it'd be cool if there was like a monster deal, eh? I mean, sometimes there are. All right, let's get back there. Microsoft and Google. So I didn't trade either one of them, but ahead of earnings tonight, I think we just saw what happened to Meta today. The same thing could happen to both of those names. So just be careful. I prefer Google heading into the print than Microsoft, but hey, we haven't been wrong yet.
I feel like Boeing was way bigger.
On the 737, sure, they were doing 30-something, right?
Yeah, we were just talking about Airbus production just coming out. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Alfonso AI. Their adaptive AI predicts the best time to buy and sell stocks, helping you increase your odds for generating alpha. Join now. Get 50% off their pro monthly subscription using code TRADER50. Scan the QR code and download the app today. Yeah, it was 12 a month. The CEO of Airbus just making some comments saying that by 2028, seems like a long time from now, they're going to be at 12 a month for the A350, which is their next gen big wide body aircraft. But anyways, I didn't think that sounded like a lot of airplanes, but I feel like Airbus has an opportunity right now.
Oh, yeah. Do they ever?
Yeah.
Just with the goodwill aspect of it, not wanting to be on a Boeing.
Exactly.
How you feel.
Exactly. Yeah, same. Here goes Ford back to the upside as well with the overall market here today. It's been a bit of a flush since their report this morning. I mean, it was higher initially, but trying to bounce right now.
All right, guys, this is how they did. $42.8 billion in revenue. They had an EPS beat. Earnings per share were 49 pennies. The street was looking for 42. Here are what 2 security analysts already, Bank of America analyst John Murphy, basically saying he sees the upside here in Ford Commercial. That is their F-150, 250, 350. That's what's in demand. In addition to that, they're going to release a new line in the second half of this year in Europe. So they're looking for volume to pick up on that. Ford Blue, which is their regular cars, their regular internal combustion engine, acted as an offset. But the E, Brendo, is really where they lost a lot of money, not making any money there.
Long story short, people still like pickups. It's worth noting as well, this Rubrik IPO today just made another day low down there.
To the earth. I was just explaining the show, The 100. To Sean, because John Murphy, the name of a character. I don't know why we're talking about John Murphy. But
because something about Murphy up there.
Right. Anyways, yeah, John Murphy was one of the cool characters on.
All we hear is just like random names.
And I was just saying to Sean, like, that's a cool show. I think you probably enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure Marissa would be into that show.
It's Netflix. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm still on that 3-body problem.
Netflix. See, you actually said it the right way this time. How is Ford down? Like, how many names of the reported earnings that we were paying attention to were actually up after market? It was Ford and it was American Airlines, and I think Mobileye was actually up. Somebody else might have been up as well. But initially, everything else was bad, and when the market does this big rally, Ford says, hold my beer, I don't care, we're just going to be going down. Like, what's going, like that? Sometimes things don't make sense. I'm glad I didn't trade Ford today, because when that market started rallying, I probably would have been that person trying to go long, like in here somewhere. Eventually, I mean, when it wiped out the bottom, it started working. Okay, but that's not saying much. I don't really see much of a trade in here, but I do want to stick to this notion. I still, like, the GM's been a different story. Like, GM dipped and ripped like everything else, and GM still double top, baby. So we're here, maybe 46. Actually, 46 could break today. on GM, which would be a little bit surprising. I said maybe next week because, I don't know, after the fall yesterday, I was sort of thinking maybe, and then this morning I was thinking maybe next week, but that 46 breakout on GM is very much in play after their earnings. A bit surprised by the Ford weakness, relatively speaking, but this one is setting up pretty nice. Good for GM here.
I'm getting set up here because Tesla, we are short the NASDAQ right now. And I'm just going to, I know we're talking about Ford. We just talked about that a little bit. We've left Tesla alone, but guess what? Looky what we see right here. This is, again, we have this on our sticky note. It's Tesla 168. So, I mean, yesterday we nailed that trade. And we had it. We didn't, I think we had $10. Yeah, that's 158. Yeah, that was the bottom. So we had this. We did reload there. So I'm going to try it again, but that high today is 166.80. I'll try it up near here, 167.50 against that. Tesla's huge today, up another 2.5%. Congratulations to that trade for everybody, because you know, those of you that believed in the name, you got a wicked opportunity now to potentially, again, feel like we got to get good reports next week or tomorrow, from today into tomorrow for a NASDAQ move. But you know, if we can get above this 180, then I think that people are going to start to use this 50 period as more indicators. So that's 175. So you get above there, then maybe you can start to get back going, and hopefully Elon delivers once again on some of the promises of a newer car coming earlier into the market, so we can see if that works. GM, I think this is true. We said this when that quarter came through. Really impressive. It's now 4 straight days up. I was explaining to Randy that sometimes you get that third day little pullback, and we kind of had that yesterday off earnings, and I could see that like that could have been like a little doji star situation where we pulled back down, but now you're starting to go higher and actually looking like it wants to break the highs of $46. So you're not even that far away right now. I think GM can work here. So shout out to Mary Barra and company. General Motors really working to the highs. You know, story of basically 2 different companies, GM and Tesla. One was working forever for the last 10, 15 years, and right now it's GM's time to shine a little bit.
All right, AAPL trying to get back to the upside this morning as well. Another earnings name, this one from the pre-market this morning. Got sold off pretty heavily on the call. We did get a bounce back to basically aftermarket levels, but hasn't done much since the open today, just back and forth.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Brendo, here, it was a decent report. They did miss on revenue. The street was looking for $12.6 billion. They printed $12.57, despite the fact that revenue was up 3% year over year. What really is in focus is their first class, business class. That's where they say the majority of their focus is, and that's where the profit margins are, and there's good demand for that right now.
Yeah, trying to bounce as well with the overall market here, guys, for AAPL.
Trying, but failing 14.
You know what I wanted to say? You traded, Brendan brought this to us a couple of stories ago. We forgot about it.
Which one?
And I didn't even see if anybody's talking about it in the chat, but the IPO.
Oh,
Might be a little more, just like it might be more exciting than AAL.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
We kind of glanced
It's
over.
RBRK. Okay, I was in AAL at 14. I got out at 13.90. It's failing 14 again. So I'm not bullish on this at all. If the market's at highs and you're making lower highs, not good. I think we can all understand that. That RBKR was, so the break was, thankfully I didn't have much left on our RBKR. Oh, it's New York, that's why. All right, I typed in, no, it's RBRK.
You have it in your blotter.
No, it's RBRK. I know. I'm sitting there like I don't have it in my blotter to be able to just read it. I'm trying to remember for some reason. There you go. Rubriks. I did not take the open print, but right away at the open, it bounced up to like 39 or 39 something, pulled back in, and then showed a big bid at 38. So it bounced the first time. I didn't really trade it off that. Got all the way to 40. I scalped like 38.5. And then it worked along back into 38. That was kind of good. I reloaded that long. And this was about the point that I typed in the chat. I don't think it's going to hold the 38 level anymore. And I didn't have many shares left, but look at the slippage on this. Thankfully, you know, like these trades were bigger than those trades, so that's not that bad. But it's now trend to the downside. I didn't pay for locates, but the last few times I've seen this, I think we've usually seen these bad boys catch a bid in the afternoon. So I want to see it catch something other than 37. I wasn't really watching it right on the IPO open, so I don't really know how to treat 36 even. But if I see like a monster bid and then some higher lows off that, maybe a bounce into VWAP on Rubriks, they're like a cloud data security company. But the problem for them is they widened their loss when I was reading this morning.
It sounds like a good time to IPO.
I'm like, but yeah, trading it on the first day is very different. Like you don't want to hear that. Like not at this point in the market. You widened your loss like year to year. We're going to come to the market when we're at highs. I mean, good luck for them. I mean, I like security names. Yeah, that's good, but
Rubrik. I think I've heard of that company before.
I just read a couple articles.
All right, let's go talk because we got AMD and we got Nvidia on our mind as well.
Definitely day highs coming into play right now for Nvidia. It's been straight to the upside all morning long. That number brought everything down in the pre-market. Again, if you're just joining a little bit late, recap, we had prelim GDP that came out this morning was way off what was expected to the tune of more than a full percent, 1.6% on the advanced Q1 GDP number. So the prior was 3.5.
I know.
That's
we were
bad.
talking about that on the midday,
It's nuts.
which is.
So that basically priced out rate cuts right through to December.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we said, if we get a strong PCE print tomorrow, it's just going to be, we're talking about rate hikes, not rate cuts. So we'll see how that all works out. With respect to Nvidia, the big mover today, well over 4%. It had one of its preferred suppliers for RAM, South Korea's SK Hynix, report its highest profits in nearly 2 years. They did well on every measure. Obviously, with the high bandwidth memory being part of the H100 and the Blackwell chips, Brendo.
Yeah, it's definitely, we saw on that sector board, it's definitely the chips providing most of the strength here this afternoon. Even Apple just saw it pop up again. Back to green, so that's good, but still only just 0.25%.
Just tried to short Meta.
Nvidia. So look, Nvidia ends up being good, but not because of the short. And not because I actually did more than one long trade. It was that setup. It's 12 for 14, just taking bull flag breakouts after it fails a false bottom. That said, it would have been a heck of a lot better if I'd taken the first. It gets set up twice, the same thing twice. And the first time I was shorted instead of just not doing anything and then looking for this long breakout, because that one at 800 was actually better. Like that was clean from 8 to 810. But I was short at first. And this actually wasn't a bad trade because I'd taken some profit out, but believe me, I wanted 85, so we're really holding. That's not great. I was trying to get greedy with that short. And then I shorted again off the 805. That was a loss. The long breakout, as per the way I've been trading it, is essentially into like previous day resistance levels. So that's why I'm out here, and that's why out's in front of this 818 area. So that was the plan when it broke 815. It was a good breakout trade, but I did not continue it because I wasn't really believing I just wasn't believing in the long, and it's obviously a mistake. We talk about it all the time. Thankfully, like without this, I'm easily red on the day, but like that one trade, let's kind of tip it. I'd call it a flat day overall on momentum.
Here we go.
But if I don't take that long trade, then it wouldn't have. AMD, sorry, I didn't trade AMD. I was in Intel, and it's more the same story. Like it was a great short early, and it was a bad short after.
Yes,
great
sir.
short early.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, right now the market's starting to go one more time. I mean, it's about timing, 1,000%. We just shorted Meta right now. We are bidding 440 to 21. Maybe let's switch that up just a little bit here because the market is coming back. Okay, there it is right now. We're going to try to punch something out. Yes, sir. There it is. A little bit of a quick trade right there. Ooh, so spicy right there on that one. So that's a nice little trade there on Meta. Wow. I wasn't sure about that, but we'll put $2 in our pocket on half and then see if we can get to the downside. As the TQQ's trying to spice up your life as well. Shout out to the Spice Girls. Spice up your life. You got it. What's life without
oldie.
spice?
That's an oldie.
Shout out to Ice Spice. Nicki Minaj and her on that Barbie song. I like that song, actually.
Actually, that song's not bad.
I know nothing else about her, so.
I don't like that's probably. I think I've.
I
heard
know
a
she has
couple-
cool hair.
I've
That's
heard a
about
couple
all I
of
know.
That's about it.
All right, there it is. Comp SRX1. We got it, man. We got it good right there. Nice trade on the TQs as well, man, as we short the market again. Let's go. I mean, this is what we're doing every day. It's like, go back to yesterday's show at this time. Go back to every show at this time. I've been there, done that. We're short again right now, so let's go see if we can make all of this back in one fell swoop. We did trade Nvidia today. We had a monster here, man, 826 down to 822. booming on that one. Lost early on this at 825, made some back, and I feel like this one was one of those ones where I think I was meaning to go short, and then it just got in and out there quickly on that. So 828, took the short, then it broke through, and that was it. Surprised I didn't wait for 830, but I'm actually glad I didn't because it went to 832. So far, so good on that one. As here we go, Meta is now $3 in the money. The TQs are really coming back in right now. Let's put a bid out right here. And again, this is what we're doing, man. We're trying to do this. You see Adara now on the midday trading the TQs. Shout out to that. Some of this rubbing off. We like that. And then we're going to go off and watch to see now where we go. We had AMD short 153. That worked until it didn't. Let's go back. Are we done?
Yeah.
All right. That makes me happy and not happy. I mean, I like throwing it back to the guys, but I'm just setting it up tonight because we've got live earnings tonight with Microsoft, Google, Intel, but we got to get some Intel on this market right now. $3 in the money on Meta. Let's go.
So I just got the only long on a trail out on Alibaba back underneath 75. If it gets back to VWAP, I think we go back in. If it gets back above 75, maybe as well. But Alibaba, just to tell you, every single day it's been basically the same. I mean, ever since, this week, forget about last week. Every single day this week, it has been dip, rip, dip, rip. And I said that this morning. Maybe it does the same thing tomorrow, but
come back.
Why not just try it again? It gives a dip, it then holds VWAP and usually makes a new high by the end of the day, and you get some profits out of it. Like, it's crazy to me that you could see something like that so patterned. And Alibaba, I like them. I need to break 77 on the long term. Or sorry, check that. Keep saying 77. 78. Alibaba needs to break 78 on the daily chart, and then you have a shot of breaking the trend. The market's making a nice little pullback. I'm just going to take a quick peek over at, I haven't traded AMD today, but AMD, the weaker of mostly the chip names, it didn't quite get to 155, but look at this level. So the second move yesterday, so down, but then the second consolidation right at the opening range, 1030, was at 154.5. And if you look where it's trying to fail, double top, lower high at that same level. So that's at a level, and it's setting up underneath for a lower high. I like that setup. I know it's strong. Every stock looks strong at this particular moment, but if you look back to yesterday's levels, it did not make the full retracement. And then you throw in the fact that Intel reports tonight, I feel like there should be some risk off.
All right, we're waiting still here on the TQs. Yeah, we got Microsoft, we've got Google, we've got a whole bunch of them coming through tonight. I was just actually looking at it when Neil mentioned Intel because I was like, okay, we got to get ready for some more chip names. There it is right here. It's Microsoft. There's the $3 trillion market cap. We've got the Google and Alphabet here, so you're going to watch out for Goog or Google. We had Merck this morning. Nice report from Merck, up 3% right now. AstraZeneca up 5%. We have T-Mobile after hours, if you're interested in that, with a $200 billion market cap as well. We have... I'm surprised that Caterpillar's market cap's only $200 billion. That is a little low. I thought it would have been higher, and they've had a huge move, so that's a good day for them. Down 6.5%, but it's been a great run for them. There's Intel. I would have thought Intel's market cap was bigger than this as well, $148 billion. So
it used to be.
Oh yeah, used to. Well, yeah. I mean, it used to be a lot lower too, right? So there it is, Intel right there tonight. Look at the expected move, 6.9% right here on Intel as the expected move as we go up. Today's moves on Alphabet and Microsoft, both 5%. Sanofi today was the biggest expected mover. They're already out and up 6. After that, Altria, Northrop, Valero, again, $55 billion. I would have guessed higher. Good energy name there in the services on the refinery side. That's about it. So Carrier Global, is that Carrier? So you're coming into summertime, might want to get I want to get your air conditioning.
Right? That is it.
I think, if that is. Okay, guys, we are right now, as we go, like, I'm kind of glad that I took my eye off of it because guess what? So we have a $1 club, $2, $3, $4, $5 on Meta now as that just collapses back into 438. Okay, so that's a good trade. $5, Neil, right there. I don't know what else to do. That's a good move right there.
Yeah, we finally got a top in this market. Finally, I'm telling you, it's been relentless. The other thing that's been happening, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, the US dollar was also trending down. That's catching a bit of a bid if you're watching USD CAD, USD JAP,
Wow.
JPY. I have one short on. We're gonna get some out of 72s when we get it, but we just took some out halfway, 73 to 72 half. We're starting to finally roll back over. Like, look at this. Oh,
Sure, baby.
But
We're 7
finally,
in
like
on
the
Meta.
trend, you get a top, and we're gonna get a pullback. I think 17.5. That was overnight resistance. That was the first leg. Let's full screen it. That was the first leg where we had a bit of a pullback, was off 17.5. So it makes sense that there'd be a little bit of a bounce zone on this down move. That's why some profits on the way down here. I just had the one short, and we got out of the bobble long on a trail out. But I'm not really thinking long any dips at this point. I'm not there yet. I don't feel like dipping. Dip buying, I should say.
Guys, honestly, it's, like, look, this TQ trade, we're 80 handles, Neil, in the money right now. So, I mean, it's a downside move there. We just covered some down at that level. It came right back into it there. $5 over there now on Meta. It's just a completely different game. So, oh, man. All right. What are we going to do, man? Yeah, what's up to JB Harris and everybody out there as well? All right. Apple, dollar. I don't know. We could cover this at 436. I just wonder if we break that level there. Again, coming into earnings, are we nervous or not about Microsoft or Google? Because if we're nervous, then we should continue to fall down here. We already talked about it. I mean, this is why we're starting to trade the futures, man. I mean, we've been nailing these TQs. This could be another one of the top stocks that we've been doing. What's up, Eclectic Passions, and everybody else that's with us right now? Make sure, if it's your first time, hit the like and the subscribe. I'm here every day, and sometimes even when I'm sick, which I'm going to be changing. All right down here, 436, 7. You know, that's $7. We probably should have took that. Let's wait to see if it comes back in right now. We've really cleaned up on the TQs. I mean, this is for me the trade. So we've already done that. That's a good one. We'll see if it can push lower. We might bounce. That just bounced off 17.5. That was the level. That was the chance. Wow.
As the second it started bouncing off 17.5, I took another leg out of Amazon. Like, you could dip buy in a situation like that if you want, but I'm not thinking longs. I'm just thinking get some out, right? So we just took 172.40 a little bit out. We're bouncing back into those highs here, but this market's still higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low the whole way. Maybe we got ourselves a top. I don't know, but we're definitely going to find out. I just heard a little bit about BTC making a bit of a move, and I got to get the Coinbase for you. Coinbase 1, 2, 3 times 225. Remember 225? It's maybe a head and shoulders. I know some people are into that kind of a thing. There is your shoulder, there's your head, and there is your shoulder again. 226 has been that top. So I feel like if BTC gets a little weakness in it, Coinbase can come to that party. A lot of charts are going to look like this trend up. So when I like playing lower highs because it shows you some kind of a high before you get into the position, and that way you don't necessarily have to fight it. TESX, more weakness in the INTC after earnings. My take for Intel after earnings is I remember the last time I was railing about their quarter when it was really bad and it was ridiculous to the upside. You know, and now you're starting to see a lot of weakness in the stock. The problem here is even if it's all bad, they've already pulled back like 30-something%. So, like, what are you going to do here? Like, there's every reason why, even if it's not that great, people could get that whole bottom is in mentality and it's not getting any worse, and you get a relief rally on Intel. So I think it's a little bit tricky for something that far down that is close to some of the value levels, for lack of a better word, not to have a relief bounce. You think about Meta pulling back in when it wasn't all that bad. You think about, you know, the reaction that Netflix had, and I think you could be in trouble just assuming that a bad quarter is going to mean Intel goes down, or, you know, they also tend to be pretty. They're always reasonable is not the word. They're conservative with their guidance, and that's an expectation. So if they do have a poor guide or like a flat guide, generally speaking, that's what people expect out of Gelsinger and co. So I'm not assuming these guys are going to be down. I don't expect that the numbers are going to be good, but I'm not assuming that they're going to be down. I'm not considering buying them in my long term until at least a couple, probably 2 more quarters, end of the year. But that's because the foundry, they've already told you, that's a 2027 thing. No reason to be in this thing if the reason for growth is pushed out a couple of years, right? You might as well just wait. Mute.
Yeah, I went to load up the after hours show there. We should have Danielle Shea on, which is everybody's favorite guest. Well, she'll be on tonight, and we'll talk about, she had that butterfly, whatever that is, on Meta. So we'll talk about that. Come on, man. I mean, this has been, like we've said it over and over again here on the show. Oh, the butterfly effect? Thanks, Ramin. I do like the butterfly effect. I've never seen that, though. Wasn't there a movie with Ashton Kutcher or something?
It is.
That is the movie.
And Amy something.
Yeah.
Amy
Winehouse, no.
No.
Polar, no.
Smart. Amy
Like
Smart.
Kim Kardashian. Thank you, Amy.
No, it's actually
No,
it's not bad.
okay. Meta right now still 5 in. Yeah, we'll watch that butterfly effect. Why not? I still want to. I got to watch that Three Amigos with my kids still. We only talked about that yesterday.
We figured out that it's free.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
we?
good. Yeah, we said it was on YouTube. Tonight we have. So my son has hockey tonight.
No, in the
tomorrow,
States.
Saturday. So that should be fun. And then we had a great practice yesterday. And for those of you that were able to see, we have. This is my lovely daughter here, although she's a handful. Right here, you can tell sassy right there. So shout out as we walk back and forth from baseball yesterday. Sore legs. I threw about 300 pitches, probably would be my guess yesterday.
Well, better warm up, man.
Yeah, I should warm up. That's a good call. Okay, so the TQs is now coming back into this level. So let's just go, man. Don't like and subscribe, but do this too. We are sirens it up. I'm going to tweet this out, but again, another day that ends in why we're short the market here into the close. This is exactly the kind of trading that I am very, very comfortable doing, and I'm just glad that all of you are here with us as we continue to be who we think we are, and that is a bunch of damn bears. I wrote on here bear right there. So there's been lots of money to be made both ways today, as the market is a volatile one. That is for sure, Mr. Grinch. But you are not a mean one, unless you were buying shares ahead of earnings. I just think it's very dangerous. We saw what happened to Meta there. How in the world, although I was like just saying, oh, I think it's going to be down. I just looked at charts and just thought it was going to push lower. That's all that I looked at yesterday with Meta. And on Tesla, I felt like everyone was way too offsides for that. But I just think I like Meta, and I think that it's a long-term hold. It's a great company, and they actually had another bang-up quarter. I mean, they increased daily active users 7%, up to 3.24 billion. I mean, like we said, that's 40% of the world have some kind of Meta product on their phone or laptop or somewhere.
You're using one of them. That's
so exactly. So the thing is like they come out huge, but then they talk about spend. I feel like all of these companies are going to have to talk about spend. I mean, Microsoft is going to need to work on their Copilot, start to offering more products, work on ChatGPT, try to get, Bing integration. They're going to have to worry, okay, here we go, let's go.
It's good for Nvidia.
I think it's great for Nvidia, but then Nvidia is going to come out and say something similar probably too. If they ever warn about a demand slowdown by any chance, wow, right now, bang, Meta is now $7 in the money as we continue to go lower on Meta and the market. Apple's $1 in the money. Meta's $7 in the money. The TQs is 60 cents in the money. It's a print factory, and we're happy to be providing that for you. Let's go to the downside, man. I can keep talking bearish if you want, but I'll just let my trading speak for itself.
Yeah, the bears are out in full force today, although they have their heads out of their you-know-whats, because I didn't like how that was going on. But I've only had one position, one short, one in, and I do not think we're going to dip by on any of these Mag 7 names. The only difference is Alibaba off of VWAP. I'm going to stick with that one. We got about 20 cents to go. We get down there, and if we're holding 17.5, I think this one's going to be good to go off of VWAP. There have not been many longs today on the show, but the ones that were there were obviously winners, and the trend is going to be your friend. So want to make sure we're banking a little something here. We're not even close to power hour. We got plenty of time for this to work out. I maintain we're looking for some new things out here as well. And Coinbase, as Bitcoin is underneath 65,000, that's usually a good sign if you're shorting. Cannot seem to get back up to that 225 spot. I want this off 25 so I can give it to 26. So if there is this continued bounce, I'm going to keep my eye on Bitcoin 65,000. As long as we're under there, I like this 225 level on Coinbase. Comp SRX, I'm not sure that makes sense, but you let me know what you mean there. Meta long added to short. That's a little confusing because you can only be one or the other. But yeah, maybe clarify there. I mean, you added, like, that doesn't really make any sense there. But let me know what you think. And I really don't see wanting to be doing anything but waiting for VWAP if you're trying to catch some longs. The afternoon trade, VWAP retracements, VWAP bounces in either direction, that's been the way to go. I didn't pick up that AMD, but I'm not going to chase it either. I want it at 154, not willing to compromise because I'm giving it to that high. So it's still in the pocket, but I'm not chasing it down here. Otherwise, it's like add, and then I'm averaging back into the high instead of risking what I want off that 154 and a half. What's up, Gurjeet?
All right, everybody. Yeah, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Yeah, I like that. I like you, Nathan Kim, there. I like those bear emojis. We definitely like that. I'm still waiting to see if there's going to be news that hits anywhere that makes me change my mind. We just had this wick there that I'm not happy with on the futures. And look where it wicked out, 17.5. Things that make you go, because that's a pretty key level right there that we just bounced off of. And now, I'm trying to get back up to the upside there. So that is something for sure for me. But Meta, as we keep saying, is pretty good, man. We're $6 in the money here, but we have this 440 area that I was debating getting out if we get back to there. The 50 period's been good on this name. Like, it wasn't that much here, but then we kind of respected it there. I feel like it held here, there. There's the clean break, but why does that look any different than these breaks? You know, this one's now basing. We're actually at the 200. So, like, look at the 200 today. 200, 200, 200, 200. So let's just put a bid here at 437 and just take the money. Because, I mean, if the market's, if we're lucky to get it now, we might have missed our opportunity for that. So this is what we have to do. We can sit here and be all casual and everything like that, but at the end of the day, we got to make decisions. And that's what we're here to do. So I'm just going to do that. You know, that's one thing that I've been getting better at is just like, let's just do what we're doing. And, you know, because we still got the biggest and the baddest right here. We still got the market on a triple levered. You know, like the TQs is all of a sudden just ripped up to the highest net for me right here today. And we just started this trade at 2 o'clock. Even when you guys were on, even when we came on, these are all my fills are from 2 o'clock and on. So I'm pretty proud to be able to show you guys some of the trades that we're making and talk about why we're in them. So, yeah, but that wick down there is a little scary. So we'll put some more bids there, and then I'm going to watch out for this Meta. I think we should do that, be responsible here. Again, a nice move back up. The only reason I'm hesitant to this, because if we actually take the 200, I mean, this is why. Like, I feel like sometimes you got to ride, right? I mean, if we ever take this 200, which we have not done, then where? And then is that a VWAP? You know, like when I went long here, I actually have a tweet when I went long here at 426. I said my out's going to be 441. And instead, we took it right here at 436, thinking that this was good enough. It was until it wasn't, and we went to 441. And then I shorted, and we made money on the short. But at the end of the day, you got to pay yourself first. And we did that with half. So let's ride. Let's see if we can get near that again and break it. So we'll ride with the TQs, and we'll also ride with Meta into hopefully what is a short afternoon.
Yeah, 17.5 goes. I think you could see another 100 points, but that's mostly to do with what's aftermarket and what I think the fear would be, because Google is at highs and Microsoft is coming off them, and you know what happens. We already saw it with Meta dragging the entire market down. Here's something that's underneath VWAP. Instead of everything that's at the highs, Apple is starting to struggle with VWAP here. So this is actually a setup that'll make some sense if we take out the 17.5 and looking for Apple to set up under VWAP. I'm still on the offer of AMD. That hasn't changed. But if we don't get a push up and the next move is down, I'm going to hold Amazon to VWAP, and I'm going to look for short on Apple underneath. But I need to see the futures give it up. At this point, we're still a little bit strong. I'm going to dip by Baba. Really don't mind that. Comp SRX, thanks for clarifying. You were saying the long is pressing, but you're looking to go short. So like that, like it's still upward. What I get out of that would mean that it's still upward trending, but now you've double topped and you're looking to go short. So that does make sense to me if that's what you meant. But I'm assuming that's what you meant. Now you can't do both of them, obviously. Someone said in the chat, oh, you could have two accounts, but I mean, even then, like there's no logic to that. You can hedge something with options, but you're not going long and short the equity at the same time in the same instrument. Clearly, that would be wash trading, which you're not allowed to do.
$8.
So Apple, we're looking for a little flush under 17.5. It's still riding that wave. Chilling?
Chilling. Thank you, Nathan. We got the move that we wanted. There's the break of the 200 period moving average. It's $9 in the money. It's pretty good. Apple, I want to do more. The thing is, Snapchat sucks because this was a call that we were wrong on too. I mean, this is how we're going to trade, man, honestly. Take the wins when they're there, and then when they lose, and we're out like stat. So we're not going to ever have those kind of mistakes. You know, but this one also at 1150 is really starting to...
That one got far.
Yeah, get juiced up there. What is Coinbase?
You know what though? We did. Here's the
Snap
thing.
is like Mark McGuire.
They say like it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong, because there was like separate levels here, like every single level, 1075 worked then out. Then you had the the previous day lows, 11, it started working and then out. Then it was yesterday afternoon's resistance level at 15. That was working, and then that stop out. I tried getting back in because I was wicked out when I was away, but even that took out the high. And ended up giving, like each time you're giving something back, but at least you're getting away from it. That's the best you can do. I mean, eventually, if you keep going, you're going to catch a top, and it goes to VWAP. That's great, but it's still an upward trend. And that's a tough cost all the way up to finally try to get it. And even then, it's not weak enough. I'm surprised Snapchat could be this strong going into earnings after what we saw last night. But maybe it's because it's already beaten up. That would be it. That's the guess. You know, Snapchat had already been huadunked and held some support down here at $10, $11. So it's got a decent place to come from. I don't know if the short float's going to give us anything. I think it's still under 10%. 8%, it's not bad. That gives it a little extra juice if they can get up. $12, as a trader, $12 looks great as a breakout. But I seriously doubt you're going to get a chance to trade a 12 break. If it's going through 12, it's going through on the aftermarket show. And you're going to come in tomorrow, and it's either over 12 or you're looking at a downside move on Snapchat. You know, the breakouts that are that tight on earnings, you don't usually get them unless you take them in the aftermarket, which I'm not doing, obviously.
So I was thinking here, like we could retake that 200 period, which would kind of be bad. 437, 438. I mean, that wick high there is, I mean, we could get out at 440 now. So I think that this is worth it here. So we just touched in. I mean, it's going to suck. It always does suck to not take the ultimate bottom, right? But like that just bounced again off of 435. Thing is like that could have cascaded back into that 430. So I'm wondering if that's the level now. So you will give back $5, which sucks. That's basically half the trade if you use 440 as your out. But I feel like we got to have an out somewhere. And you know what? I mean, we could get stopped out. I mean, this is what earnings are about. This trade only had a, I'm just watching this TQs because it's trying to get lower as well. This trade was only $1.30 of risk because we were going to get out at 445 break. So that was the idea there for Meta on that trade, just like here. You know, we take the trade here at 440, we average it out, and then we're out at 441. But meanwhile, we wind up taking a $2, actually a $1. This one was only 1-to-1. But you are trying to come back up here off of that low. Yikes. let's just be responsible. It'll be the 50 period. If we break above 440, let's just get out. So I'm gonna switch my stop is right here, 445.02. So I'm gonna cancel that 440.02 again. All right, so we'll get out of it, 100% of it, and we'll just get out and see if that works out for us. We did take a low bid already on the TQs. This is another one that's gonna have to break the 200 period moving average. We wanna have some shares left on this name just in case it does break lower. But again, we've already taken a decent amount out at past support. So happy with that trade. Okay, now Meta's trying to go back in, which is good. Let's get a little less comfortable and look for something else. So you mentioned Boeing earlier.
So I just wanted to say something because coin clock in tax. RBRK off 37 level is juicy. There's big money holding that price up. My only caveat would be to say I didn't have much of anything on when it broke 38, but the liquidity through that, like you're probably not getting slipped a couple of cents on the 37 is all I'm going to get it. It's still trending down. I'd rather it see a wipeout bottom, like breaking a level and regaining the level. Because if you just go long right in front, if you get like 05s out in front of 37, I don't think you're risking 6 cents or 10 cents. Like you could be risking 30. And for most people, you might not be accustomed to trading. Like a $37 stock, you might not be accustomed to slipping 30 to 40 pennies underneath a level like that. So I'd rather it breaks a low and then regains it than anything else. I'm not standing in front of it, but you're right. There is a buyer at the 37 even. I'm into Apple now. It just got back underneath VWAP. So that's the level we're looking for consolidation under on Apple. Now it's happened. So VWAP, not many things are underneath VWAP as strong as the market's been. But if this can hold the 30s, we'll give it to that. If it breaks higher, maybe I'd take another shot at it here. But I think the 170 is a little bit better for Apple. I mean, you battled with the 170, that's where it won. So it's either VWAP or that. I think if you diddle in the middle and this market gets back up there, it's probably in trouble for Apple. But I like it under VWAP at least.
Yeah, so this is a sticky note trade of 170 here today. So we've actually done really well on Apple, but we did lose that first battle there as it broke through 170. And then we just said, nope, we don't believe that. And then we took it back in and got out at one. See, and this is again, oh man. We were talking about doing like a risk profile, like maybe we make something and develop it. You guys already asked me for this in the chat. Like, can we make something that describes risk and how you can play it properly? Like that's 170.15 out and boom to the downside. Take a little bit and then don't really take your real position until it comes into some levels. I've been getting better at this. Sometimes I've even shorted down here. But now we take that first bid at 25s, then we take it at 75, and then we really load it. And then we get out for 15 or 20 cents of a hit off the 170. Then it breaks, and then it comes back down. And that's been the play that's been able to, we're green on the name and well green on it. It'll be my P&L too. Okay, we're going to wait till everything settles down because, Neil, right now, Meta.
Tesla. Oh, no.
And again, thank you for all the good talk there. We talk about this all the time. It's one thing to be able to talk the talk. It's another thing to be able to do it live right in front of you guys. And I mean, I'm trying to break these trades down as much as I can. And I feel like we just did it again for you right there. So there we go. Nice hold on Meta. The reasons were justified. If this 50 period keeps coming down, well, then we'll keep on adjusting our stop. But there we go. Really worked out for us on that one for Meta, and I still like that Apple trade. So far
we'll
so good
see.
here.
The market's still holding steady at 17.5. It's the kind of level of resistance into support. If you bounce off it, you're trend up, and if you're trend up, Apple's got some, it's got some room to the top. Like I'm not giving it to like 169.70 or anything like that. But Tesla just made a run at the high. Did it get there? Nope, it did not. So Tesla just made another run at the high. See higher lows. This one's strong. Like I don't feel like this is a short. Tesla looks like it could be going streaking. Like look at this double top. If it takes out 168, there's some room to 168 from yesterday. But my goodness, are people a little bit off base if it takes that one out. Tesla looking like it's going to be a ramp job. Why didn't I trade Rivian today? If you were looking for something to short today, like this stock, everyone's already seen the daily chart. Just a reminder that You know, this can't even, like Tesla's the high of the day. These guys can't even go anywhere. And look at the shorts at VWAP. Every time it pops, you short it above VWAP and you win, win, win. Didn't even look at Rivian today. And it's just it's an easier trade. It's trend down. If you're bearish, then know you're bearish stocks. It's that simple. Now Tesla looks like a hole over 167. It's got room to 168. I think a dip back into the even. You got to be long something, and I'm not going to get Alibaba. Then I'll try evens on Tesla. Before I say that, am I going to get Alibaba? No, I'm not. Cancel Alibaba. We're not going to see view up there. And it's a Chinese ADR. It's 3 o'clock. If you're not filled by now, you're probably not going to get filled at all. And if it gets down there, momentum could be against you. So I want to try to join it. Apple couldn't hold under view up, but I like the setup. Got underneath, consolidated. There's your false break. We shorted underneath at 17, risk about 15 pennies, 1-to-1. If it breaks, I think we would have got some down at the 80s, but I'm not holding it right through to this next top. If I want to short the next high, I'll short the next high. That is what saved my day today, waiting from one step to another instead of fighting it on the way up.
Oh, yeah, Tesla is there. Okay, this is the level I mean, again, it's a sticky no level, so we're taking it. I'm just going to take it immediately right now and then see if we can get something back a little bit higher. I thought I was at 167.50 on Tesla, and I guess I was not. Did it get that high? Tesla. The high there, yeah, we were not, oh my God, no it didn't. Okay, good, so we were there anyway, so I don't feel so bad. We did not miss that trade. We're in it now. The TQs is nice, man. Neil, we're over $8 now in the money on Meta as that keeps on going lower right now, and so do the TQQs. Right now, go lower and lower and lower. We are just back into now, for the very first time, this Tesla trade, and we'll see if this one wants to make some money for us or not. We'll try it into 168. It has to be a little bit higher than that for me. We'll have a starter position now and then put our stop, which I already think is in there actually, because I thought I had my order in before, at 168 and change. So let's see if that wants to break higher on us. So new position is Tesla, but ultimately, I did have a TQQ bid down here at 15s. That's where, I mean, that's where the 200 period moving average is. So I'm going to put something like at 22, 23, cancel that 15. Maybe we can get that fill. And a nice little bounce off again here for Meta at this exact same level. So 435, I think we should just put a bid and call it a day potentially there for Meta. Let's watch that in case it gets back down here. Let's watch out for that 435 area for Meta.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, Meta's, telling you, man, that move off of that top, it's every single, the even dollar was almost like a trap because the $5 levels where everyone wasn't looking as much ended up being a little bit better in some ways, especially on the way up there. Look, I just scalped Tesla in the other direction off of 67 even. So it broke out to 67 even. The actual high was 167.13. That's this wick right in here. So it pulled back in, bounced right off of it, took some out in front of the 50s. 168 has some room to go. I have a stop right at the 15 cent under. So it's like 30 cents one way, 30 cents the other way. If it gets to 168, great. I think the short 168 to 170 is what I was looking at yesterday, and it just didn't quite get there. It was a disappointment because I wanted 170 on it. Amazon, I might reload it, but it's not giving me a decision. It's at the same level pulled back where we got out, and it's not breaking higher to short the top. It's not breaking lower to think about getting out at VWAP. So we're in a bit of a holding pattern, which is okay. Don't have to do anything. We're not really forced into it. Jay Lee said you sold that RBRK. The volume's starting to dwindle on this, on RBRK. Like it's always the volume's going to be at the start, but even on that last little bounce off 37, not a lot of participation there. I don't think I'm trading this again today. Not enough action in it. We've seen, like things like Instacart, or maybe that's a bad. Reddit is a great example of something that was still doing volume in power hour. This one, not so much. So it's going to be a pass for me on RBRK.
439.50 now, changing our stop on Meta. We may have missed that. May have missed that bottom there. All right, we'll keep waiting for it. I mean, we thought we were going to get it, but if we have to get stopped out here, that's fine too. 439.50, that's where the 50-period moving averages. We'll wait to see if there is something we can do. We can't do anything about it. I don't mean what we can do about it, but let's just see if it wants to come back in there and test one more time. So yeah, Tesla, good long on that one because right now, Well, whatever. I mean, we're out 30 cents. I need to get a bigger position up here near 160. But look at the market. The market is coming screaming back right now. So the TQs, we have that 10% left on this position again. Probably will reload it back up here, but not until then. I'm not going to use the 50 period. We're coming into the power hour right now, the last hour of trading. And like I said, I think that Microsoft and Google, especially Google, I think has a good chance to go northbound there off earnings, especially the way it was bought back up today. Boom. You know, good quarter from Meta. You know, strong advertising. Everything was there, growing on the users. So I'm expecting YouTube and Reels and all that stuff, or Shorts, to grow as well for them. So I like the space, and I think there's going to be something there. So let's wait to see if Google can go that way, maybe potentially for that. We're still in the Apple short. I don't know where your out is, but I'm
Oh, I'm out. I got out when it broke that 30. I said if it goes to the next high, I might try the next high, which would be like 75s or then the evens. I just don't want to be fighting that one.
Yeah.
Like if it's a VWAP trade, I don't want to be carrying it past VWAP on a retracement. We've seen that work, but it works because, generally speaking, you get a consolidation at VWAP, and if the market makes another leg down, you're laughing. Because the market makes another leg down, the stock underneath VWAP loses its buyers at VWAP, and then you just float because there's no bid. Without that, I think it's no sense. So look, I'm getting out in front of 168 on Tesla because that was that top. And maybe it's a short at 168, maybe it's not, but I know, unless you're Comp SRX, I know you weren't actually going both ways. You can't actually look for a short trade if you're sitting in a long, unless there's some kind of a glitch in the matrix or the system. So that was a simple scalp trade on a high of the day break. It ended up going, so risk to reward is good, but when in doubt, zoom out. And zoom out that is a pretty big level. You can go further out. Like, it's a pretty big level. Further out on the 15-minute, you see what 168 is, and even the 170 level here on Tesla. That said, I can tell you, I wish it was Rivian that was doing this, because it would be a much better short. But here's the 168 level as we speak. I'm in. I don't like even dollar stops because, well, algos know all about them.
Yes, they do.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Like, if you're shorting a level, like an even dollar, and you're just going to get out on the even dollar, then it needs to be NEO at $5 when there's 5, 10, 20 million shares on the level or something silly like that. Otherwise, it's unlikely to work.
All right, here we go. Nice little pullback down in there for Tesla. We did take some out there, and then once we got the rejection, we got back in. But it'll be a losing trade unless we can get back about $1 back out of the downside, because our average price there was 50s. So just to take 50 cents on the way back is not going to be enough to get us positive. So we're going to need to get back into 167 flat for Tesla to hit that. So we're going to bid right now 50s, and then if it falls back in, then that's fine. Yeah, 168 just rejected, but sometimes you get the rejection and the complete fall back in, but look what this market is also doing. So it's not just a Tesla story anymore. It's like a rebound where this market really bounced off 17.5. I mean, I feel like that's the story there. Remember, we wicked to this bottom, we came back in.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Bouncing off again, bouncing off again, bouncing off again, and now starting to go back to the upside. So,
I should have got it.
Yeah, nice trade there to be able to hold it. Let's see what Tesla does. I guess 168.50, but the next time it goes, it's probably going to go. So.
Yeah, I scalped some out, but if it breaks the high now, I'm getting out. And I should have, it was probably the right call to get it all out of Amazon. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I'm not reloading this. Why? Because the NASDAQ isn't at the high and Amazon is. That's simple. Like, you're still lower high on the NASDAQ and you're at the top. So this can break out the high without the NASDAQ, which means I need a higher level to short, if that makes sense to everybody. If we break the high here, we're going to have to give up on the last bit of Amazon. Like, your trade could always be better. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to just take all of the profit when it's against the grain. But Tesla, my stop is now the current high of the day, or just a couple of cents above it, because it's like 101.08. So you can probably figure out where that is. I'm not reloading it. To me, that either works now back into 167 or it doesn't. It's absolutely wild. This market is so resilient. Like, everyone's sitting around waiting for the dip buy. And the truth be told, you just have to take it the first day. Almost every single stock I'm looking at, it's like it makes that big move down. I'm like, this is going to be the start. We'll get another leg down. You don't. And not in this market. It's that one day, and if you buy that bottom, we're looking back every single time. And it's like, okay, there you are. It was Tesla. So I'm out of Tesla. The long was obviously better than going for the short, but I said this morning, I didn't get the 170. I'm going to try the 168 today because that's what worked yesterday. So I knew I was going to. It didn't get there till now, so I took the shot. And there it is. So even Amazon came out, and that was the story of should have just taken it all out down there at 172.30. But the shorts were working pretty nicely, and this NASDAQ just doesn't give a darn. The poll's at 1,000.
Wow.
50-50. 1,000 people have voted, and it's exactly 50-50 as we're taking out the high of the day.
And what is the poll?
It's will the NASDAQ close?
Oh, right. Okay, I wasn't sure if we had like a Google, Microsoft poll. There's a super chat.
Actually, that would have made sense.
That was there. Okay, I want to. what I want to update everybody was there's Meta. So it does take out that. We got up 50s, so we actually got a good fill. I think it was 58 cents. So a good fill, 60s, 58s and 60s as it goes higher there. So we wipe out some levels, take it out, and go back up to the upside. So there it was. That's a trade that we have, and it's out. So good trade there. We made some money back there on Meta, but unfortunately, we did give back about $3 because we could have had that 436 again. So that was a problem, 350 or so.
The truth of the matter is that you can't get the big one if you don't hold. It's just that simple. No, like I'm just saying.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's what I do.
Because oftentimes people are like, oh, why do you give up so much? And it's like, no, but if you're like, you'll never get a $20 winner if you, and again, it's a different style. Like to me, I will take the station to station pretty much every time, but that's what I do for consistency. Sean loves to hold for that big. It takes out VWAP and it's going to double the move if the market turns around, because Meta's going to fall more in that situation than the market pullback in a lot of times because of the volatility that it has. Thanks for mentioning the super chat. I almost missed it. Biz, thank you for this. What's your call for Google? Is it a short or is it a long? Look, we're not here to give financial advice. I'm assuming you mean on earnings, not literally right now because they report. I feel the same way I did about Meta up here. I think if there's even the slightest hint that, like, say, YouTube revenue isn't where it needs to be, then I think you're at risk of a pullback. They're going to print a bunch of money. I'm just worried about what the growth is going to be. And if you have even the slightest hint, I just think there's more risk in the other direction. You know, it is what it is. Like, that's how I felt about Meta. I feel kind of the same way about
higher or lower Google from where it is right now?
I'm thinking the same thing as I feel in Meta. Like I think
higher.
I think lower. I felt
yesterday you were higher for Meta because I was lower. No,
I was wrong on Tesla. Not
Okay, so you think lower for Google? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was Tesla I was wrong on. Yeah. Tesla's the one I was thinking the other direction. But no, Meta. Again, maybe it goes up. This is one of the ones that I recently rebought. So I do not want this back at 130, which is what a bad print could do in a couple of days. But it bounced off the 200 period. I've already bought it there. I don't think, if it goes down there again, I don't think I'm buying it at the 200 period again because I already did. So I'm looking for other things if we
go. We'll take a little bit more on Tesla right now and see if it can get that move back into the end of the day here. For that, I did not reload the TQQ position, but yeah, we are loaded up now. On this Tesla just has to go like 5 more pennies, and we're actually up on it. So let's see what happens now to the downside for Tesla. I still wanted to stay in this. Like I said, we made like 15% of our month yesterday on this exact same trade right here. Boom, right down to the downside there. I don't think we're going to get that kind of market reaction right now, but here we go. Printing lower right now for Tesla. So let's get in position right now. Assume said position. We're bidding 167.60s. Let's go again in the 50s. And here we go, baby. Let's see if we can get a downside push now in Tesla. I know there's a lot of bulls out there for Tesla, so I don't necessarily think that, especially today, where we don't have that earnings sort of, what was that? That was a
AMD just hit.
Pretty crazy flicker there on AMD downside. Okay, so.
No, it just came in. I've been waiting for 154 half, quarters in front of halves. And that just hit just now. So, yep, we were waiting around for AMD to get back up to test that high. There's a double top. We got it now. Yeah. High of the day is 174.50-ish, 48. So you know my stop's going to be above that. Let's see if we can pull back. But you wait for it. We said this, if you're bearish and you're waiting for a short off a level and the market's bullish, make sure you get the price that you want because the market is going to try to give it to you if you're going against the Granadera.
This part of the show brought to you by Kalshi. Have you ever wanted to trade on events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the US where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned? How many cars Tesla will ship this quarter? What a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event, like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and if Boeing announces a new CEO by year end, you cash out $100 in your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events. Kalshi.com/TraderTV.
Top right on that page there was like U.S. capital gains taxes to increase before 2026, which I guess some way like you could just bet on you really just kind of betting on the election results. But
what was the odds?
But the way I see it is.
Did you see the odds or?
Oh, you know what? I missed the odds. I probably should pay a little closer attention. But the thing is, you could always just bet that, hey, you don't want them to go up because then you're paying more capital gains, so you bet the other direction, then you're happy either way. Not a good way to go about things.
Double whammy.
Or it is a double whammy. But it's just kind of interesting, like some of the things they have up there that you wouldn't normally be able to take a shot on. I love the Rotten Tomatoes thing because I'm a movie person. Although I understand the critics in Rotten Tomatoes don't know what is good or bad. I tend to never agree with them on pretty much anything. But,
that's why art is subjective.
Yeah, exactly. Art's, but what I hate about it is it's a massive difference between what the audience thinks and what, especially when it comes to comedy. It's like the audience versus their critics. It's so different, and they just for some reason they don't like comedy or like funny. I don't know why.
Tesla shorted 830 Katina style on Nvidia. All right, Zach, I'll jump. Let me see what this Katina style trade is over here. Okay, well, you're in the money $1 for if this was me. Oh, yes, good one. We've already talked about Nvidia a little bit here today. Yeah, that's that top again. We're basically doing that on Tesla, but this actually looks better because you have a triple top. So Tesla's just a single top right now for the day. Obviously, it's topped out yesterday. It's a double top. This is 1, 2, 3. Triple topped in the last hour and a half. I actually like this trade. Better than what we were doing here, for sure. So, look, we were shorting against basically this top here, 825. And then eventually it worked. Like, we did the same thing. It didn't work, then it worked, then it didn't work. And that's a good one, yeah. Yeah, I like that. The only problem here, as we keep saying, is the market. And I'm not going to change my mind on that. You bounced really well off of 17.5. So that's the problem. But you're still at the top now, too. It's just the market is going to now wait. There's only 40 minutes until earnings come out. So that's going to be an absolute crazy show. Let's just go over to something else that maybe we haven't, we're not going to have earnings on or anything like that, but it still is a mover that maybe we can catch something if we see something. And of course, that's going to be ARM. So right into here, I like this. This looks pretty good to me. So again, support that broke. Support right there that same support turned into resistance on the way back up. Also the 200 period moving average. To me, this is a trade right here that's worth a look. So again, support there, came into it, broke it. That's the 200, comes back, tests it, back again there, down. Probably a decent level here against 98.50. You might want to even go up to 99 on that one because then you could say, you could have that like 99 problems. But okay, there goes Tesla. So 99 problems, Tesla is one of them because there it goes right there. Breaking back to the upside.
AMD's about to do the same.
So yeah, like to believe in the short in this market is one thing, and then to actually put it on is another. So there it is. We only took out there about 20%, 25% exactly on this move down and then out there. So it's negative because we lost on more and we lost about 20 cents more than we did on that. So negative trade there on Tesla. Thought it would go the other way. You had the long initially there. That was good. Yeah, market's still trying to
But it was
blast.
only ever going to be into 168. There was no way I was going to, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you know
What
what?
about Meta?
I was just trying to
Ooh,
do
that
my
was a good out on
system.
Meta. I think you got to be careful.
No, we just got a super chat. I was just going to pull up.
okay.
There we go, NVIDIA. Donnie Zimbabwe, you got 2 of your 825 calls left. Good time to sell to close. Again, you always have to have your own plan of action. Like, it's not about, hey, let's tell people what to do, because you can't just take someone else's trade or do someone else's decision. I don't know your risk parameters. I don't know why you got in, what you were really thinking about in terms of like taking profit, how much. I just don't know. I do know that the trend is up, and this market doesn't seem to care when you run into resistance levels. It does have room to. The level I liked for all week was 850 on Nvidia, and it was pretty simple. The V-shaped recovery, I thought you already rejected it once. Yesterday, it famously never got to 850s. I sat there at the open and thinking we're going to get there on strength. So it got to $840, which is a turnaround. So clearly, I think there's some resistance at that. But if the market keeps breaking higher, have we seen Nvidia do another late push? 1,000,000 times. It's nothing for this thing to go another couple points here. But all I can tell you is the next level up that I think is significant is the 840 level. It's more like 841 from yesterday in the morning, and that 850 is a real big one for Nvidia. And remember, the Meta earnings kind of had some hints at strength for Nvidia. AMD decides to not quite run the stops, but I'm going to get some out if it gets to 154 even. The last thing I need is it holding the even dollar and I take nothing out. I think that's not making sense. And then 153.5 and then 153. We'll try to keep it simple with this one because everything else is absolutely flying to the upside here. And this is another one right at the highs. It just happens to be at resistance, so I'm not punching long into the top. Maybe that's the wrong call, but I hate going long at the high into overhead resistance or a key resistance level. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Tesla has this 170 level, so I mean, I think all you guys in the chat are probably right. We're probably right, but we're just too early. But I like that trade, so I'm fine. Tesla's up 4%. I was fine doing that. It sucks to lose again that 70 cents or whatever it was on Tesla, but that is what it is. I am going to try a little bit more here on the TQs because we're kind of coming back to this level again, but we only have that 10% left, so we'll put on another 10% just now, and then we'll see. I think we just got 90s there, 91s. We got 91s. Doesn't matter, same price. So we'll wait to see now. Our stop on this was always that high. So again, this is why it's like you guys, you have to be careful because we talk about scalping, and they did this on the main show as well, on the midday show, about how you're going to get cut up sometimes, but then you want to make sure that if the trade works for you, you're able to take out a little bit of money. And we just got all the way back down in there. This is scalping 101 right here. Shorting and out, like, you know, out at past support. So you make the money and then you hold for this. Then when it comes back up, you can try to reload it, but you don't want to put on just as many shares as you had here because then all of this will evaporate when you get shut down. So you can't just keep on averaging in all the way back up. You can't just repeat this pattern all the way back because then if you're wrong again, then you're going to lose it all. So we'll put on more right here, right now, and then our stop is going to remain the same, just shy of 53 north side. So if we get through there, we'll give it a breath, but then that will be it. So more to come up if we can get near 53, but for now, we'll reload this short here and we'll be fine. Daryl, oh, Meta's all the way back up there. That makes me feel actually really good that it's there because we got out at 339.50. Good short there, Daryl, at 442 again. Wow, yeah, perfect, man, perfect. I like that, so cheers to you. Good trade there.
So when you went over the earnings, did you mention Roku? I didn't see Roku on that list. But
oh, man, I didn't even mention Intel.
No, but they're aftermarket tonight.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Real traders stay.
Roku is, this is one of the biggest movers on earnings the last couple of, I mean, you guys can see the charts yourself. This is one consolidate, and it's not 5%, it's not 10%. You know, this is 20s and 30s. The market just went ham again. 170 already on Apple.
Yes, sir. Goodness. Oh, we got to watch out for that.
Thank goodness we got out at VWAP. Like right when it took out VWAP, look at the ramp to the upside. So the high is 170.70. Maybe we got a chance to get there. This looks like a consolidation higher for a potential break. The futures are right at the top, but this isn't at the high yet. So I think maybe you got a little bit of a chance. Oh, good news. The early look for individual names is supposed to be back today at 3:30.
Ooh.
I don't know if we'll see anything there. Let's be real, but I do think there's an opportunity every now and then to get that early look. And if you see a few big cap tech names and you're in them the wrong way, maybe it gives you a bit of a heads up. But once again, we'll give back what we make on that Tesla long, because I went for AMD off that top. The only good part was waiting for the top. You know, I could have shorted it down here, would have just lost a little bit more. We waited for the high, but it just took out the high. You're continuously breaking highs here. I needed to see us fail back underneath the top, but the NASDAQ just took out a fresh high. It's got to come back underneath to be short. Otherwise, we should be looking for some long opportunities. I know what happened. I know what happened to Alibaba. I trailed out. It didn't even get to VWAP and it bounced. Like, it's now just sort of bouncing 20, 30 cents away from VWAP and continuing higher. It's a great looking trend, but the trade I've been making all week was bounce off of VWAP long on Alibaba. Just not a chance to get it, unfortunately.
I was always right. I had the same problem as you. I was always writing down Alibaba short, and then it never, or long, sorry, it never came in to those levels. I'm going to give Apple one more chance here. We've made money on Apple. It's going to been a good stock for us, but here we go. We waited pretty patiently to try to see about this top. So now we're here, so I'm trying to see about it. I was going to get out at, it was kind of this, so here, let me show you on a 5-minute chart here for, for Apple, what I was looking at. Is this pivot point right here, 170.14. It's not pivot point, sorry, resistance number 1. We blasted, I'm not going to hold it to that. That's ridiculous. The market is way up now. So I was thinking about like right in here, 170.20. So 20 cents worth of a hit on pretty light. We're putting positions on here, but pretty light short. We should have the long already hit down here at 17.5. So that's the trade that really got going, right? We had saw that. Remember, we were in Meta and we were talking about it. We should have looked at that. Like Daryl, I'm not even going to look at Meta right now because this is going to get scary. I think if we do start to take out that high again off of these bounce levels, everything gave people the long that they were waiting for. It's just like we said, is anybody brave enough to pull that trigger? Like the NASDAQ's now going to most likely go green, I would think. I mean, that 17.5 bounce is pretty strong. And if you're going to sort of zoom this back out a little bit on the NQs, on a 30-minute chart here, let's just have a quick look. I mean, I guess this is a level, 17.6. I mean, look, 17.6, 17.6, we're all right here. So here we go, man. Nice move there. Upside, the market is really starting to take off. Right now, Nvidia's at high of the day. Your AMD, talked about
Tesla's
that.
already at 170.
Tesla's at 170 now. Oh God. Okay.
Had to flip short.
Yeah. How much do we
that
think
long
about
was
this?
so good. It happens, man. Like sometimes you just you don't have to read. We liked the long, but I liked it 67 to 68. I didn't like it to 170. As I just hear them saying, and like Benzinga's telling us that Tesla's at 170. Yeah, we know. We can see it. Like, look at it. It's 170. Thank you, Ben. I almost said Benzino. Benzinga. Fail breakout. Do that, please, because if you fail back underneath, that at least shows me that you're not going to just ramp up. I'd like to see this fail. I'd like to see it be a failed breakout instead of trying to get out in front of it. Oh, my goodness. Now it's at 170.50?
Wow. I just took a 50-cent hit there. I tried 170. I tried 170. You know, I mean, you probably saw it. I mean, whether or not it breaks now or not higher than this.
Damn.
Damn. I mean, this market, man, damn, is going to go higher here, isn't it? Into the close. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not yeah.
You know, the thing
here's what's
170. I might just sell this. I was thinking about selling Tesla.
I'm not like not blindly, but I drew a trend line last year or 6 months ago on Tesla. Sorry, I'm looking at Rivian, literally not moving. See? What's bad? Rivian's bad. Now you're back under 170? Okay. I wanted to see it fail underneath 170 to get in. But I was basically saying there was a trend line. 150 was the bottom for the last year on Tesla. So I've been bidding 151 for a while. 150, 112. And I got the fill. And I was like, yeah, I'm just dollar cost averaging. I'll pick up some more. I'm actually considering if I see 180, why not just take some of that and run on it? But that shouldn't be the way. If you're dollar cost averaging, you're not swing trading. You know, when you turn swing trades into investments are bad, but dollar cost averages into swing trades, to me, that's just a good way to get FOMO, because my intention is to hold that and then give it to my daughter, and then she can Look at them
she can get
look at them in her robo-taxi at some point. I've already told her, she's like, oh, I can't wait till I can learn to drive. I'm like, don't worry about driving, sweetheart. It's not going to be a thing for you.
Yeah, she probably won't even want to be honest with you.
No,
I mean,
no,
there's
nobody
so many
does.
people nowadays that are just like, you know, don't even own cars. I mean, we talk about that even on our podcast.
Well, how does Barron feel?
Barron? Oh no, don't forget about that. I mean, Baxter's 22 years old, and he's already told me he doesn't have any ideas or plans for a car. I mean, they're so into like all these Ubers and just like public transportation and just like getting more efficient than that, and plus living in a big city, right? I mean, I think that's the big thing, that if you're living in a Toronto or anything like that, like where Baxter plans on being, I think a lot of the kids nowadays, especially with all this tech happening everywhere, they want to be in these bigger cities. So yeah, I don't think cars for many kids is on their mind for sure. So all right, so this is that NASDAQ up there at 17.6. So we talked about 17.5. You pretty much went straight up in a line, straight up there. Okay, Tesla. We didn't get any out yet. Yes, we did. Okay, there we go. So nice little push back down in off that 170 fail break. So let's see if we can get lower on this one. Like I said, this has to get like back to 178 or 168 for us to be up on this name. That's going to be maybe even lower than that. That's probably not going to happen. So we're just going to hold on to see where we can go. Right now, we are still up on the day on the TQQs, position pending. As this just comes in, we just take an 08 out right there. Yeah, this could drop, or this could just be a temporary pullback. If it is a temporary pullback, you might be wanting to get out pretty soon, because this is that level again that we took out pretty easily. It didn't even stop here, 17.85. So watch out for a little bit of a pullback in. We'll put some bids on this name here for the TQQs just in case it does want to stop in and around there. But let's try to hold at least 80% of this for a pushback into the 50-period moving average. So that's what we'll try to do. The 200 was getting very greedy down there, which is why we emptied it out. But now we're back in this name, looking to get stopped out again, it looks like, to the upside here.
Yeah, it's, you know what, we talk about this all the time. Like sometimes the failed break is better than the short at the big level.
Oh, Tesla.
Because then now you have people that longed the 170, and then it showed you the rejection underneath. So it got 94s on the way back through. I've already scalped some out. I'm thinking 168, because if 168's big, the most simple thing is resistance into support. So on a pullback against the grain, I'm thinking that 168 level is the next bid to the downside. And maybe it holds a bid, maybe it doesn't. We got 3 minutes until the early look imbalances.
Oh, no.
It doesn't, they probably don't matter, but on the odd chance that Tesla's on there for, if Tesla shows up as some kind of a bid on the early look, then I would just get out. And my goodness, the other thing that's booming this market to possibly go green is the USD just keeps dropping. You know, the USD's been under pressure pretty much all day.
USD.
So that's definitely one thing. I'll tell you this much, Bitcoin can't seem to break 65,000. Like the only thing not going is Bitcoin 65,000. Like that's the break that you can't get today.
Ooh, that's a nice little.
Like really?
I should check the.
Like what's that telling us? I think that's, I don't know, maybe it's not telling us anything. This is a relief rally in some of the tech names that got beaten up. And the dip buyers are fierce today. That's what happens when maybe we're not out of the bull market, or it's a sucker rally. I don't know if I go that far yet. We're going to find out because it's earnings. You got this week, you got Apple next week. It's going to be put up or shut up time. But the big one, there's some big ones tonight, man. You don't get any bigger than Microsoft and Google.
Right.
Let's be real. Like it's trust. Like at the end of the day, you might get bigger percentage moves on Tesla and Meta, but just in terms of like what it means to the NASDAQ, this is where it's at in terms of one day when you get a double barrel action with Microsoft and Alphabet. So I want this 168. I'm actually sitting at just in front of the quarters on Tesla. The fail break is going to be the right one, and sometimes that's just what you have to do. Like you have to sit it out, and if you miss it, you miss it, and try to catch it on the way back down instead of standing in front. What question was I answering? It's all good. Hopefully I answered your question. 1320 Wolf. Sometimes we're just talking shop, and if it happened to answer a question you didn't ask, all the better for it. The question I'm asking myself is, when it was a trend, flat top, triple top breakout, why didn't I hold it? That's the question I will ask myself on the train home. I mean, that and who are the Bills going to take in the first round?
Yeah, well, that question will be answered if they trade up. potentially.
The rumor is a Dunzy. We're going to trade up to
No, slow down.
There was a the rumor is that the Bills are trading up to the Titans pick, and we can get a Dunzy. It's like the number 3 wide receiver in the draft. I have no idea what the heck we're giving up to get that, but
A lot.
yeah, we need a wide receiver, bro.
I know, and they just the Titans just got Ridley, and don't they still have Hopkins? So there's some potential there.
Remember how sad I was when we traded Diggs? Because we need wide receiver.
Sure. Well, you might be sad tomorrow when that doesn't happen. So, okay, we'll have to watch out. So we did reload Apple right here. I mean, I hope it does. I would love the Bills to win. Let's see if we get to the downside now. A little bit of a reload there on Apple. We are already short the market, so this could just be a double barrel blow up again if the market continues to go. But look what we did. We actually were pretty responsible there. Tesla came into 169 and we took an out. So our first out there we got at 50. We got another out right there. I mean, this out sucked. I know that. And at least we didn't get out at the top at 171, but I guess that didn't break. We should have just held out for it. There's another out right there, 20, again, short. What are we short? 8 O's? What am I short? Tesla, yeah, 01s actually. So that was a good out there at 25s or whatever that was for Tesla. So we'll see if it can go down even lower than that right now. Not my whole day, but my success on the TQs is at a flat spot right now exactly. So we have to wait now to see if we can get this back in. If not, we're a couple pennies away from getting taken out on the high side. We just got to see if we're going to hold 17.6 again. That's it. If we don't hold it, we're gone. If we do, then we're still here naturally. So let's wait to see if that is something that winds up happening. Pretty okay with it right now. I do have some bids at O's again. Hopefully those will fill. If not, cool. Apple now, nice move down in. We've now got 15 cents in the money on this one. We'll take some more profit down here as we've just done the same thing again. We talked about 170 on our sticky note, and that came in, so we shorted it again. So it's nice when things work out. We always talk about that, and sometimes I feel like if I just stick to the plan, Stan, everything would be okay. So there it goes. We got a 77 there and an 80. Now let's see if the market wants to fall down. I feel like sitting duck in this, though.
The difference, see, the benefit of sticking to the plan, which is easy to say, but it's so true. If you lose when you stick to your plan, as a trader, you just don't care. Because it's like you were going to do that anyways. That was your plan. That's the thing you really liked. So what? That's part of it. When you lose, when it's not in your plan, that's when it'll burn more because you knew you could have made another decision. You could have gone another way. But if you had an A+ setup that you like, you take it and it loses, that's a cost of doing business. The early looks are back. There just aren't any. It's just Visa at 1.9 million to sell, Ford at 1.6 million to buy, TD that's dual listed. For anyone that's looking, TD 1.5 million to buy. Just understand that oftentimes when you see that on New York, like it'll come out as a sell in Toronto. I feel like it's almost always the case.
Oh,
so, yeah.
What was the early look? Did we get it? I missed that.
We don't get the overall number. It's just we have the individual names back. That's all. And if you see this thing on New York, which had an imbalance this morning, it's just a cash deal buyout. I'm trading in both Toronto and the U.S. It's not really going to move anywhere. It'll be like pennies at a time. Palantir early look. No, never. That was this morning. So it really is just Ford, which was a huge disappointment today. Like the market ramped and Ford had a lot of trouble.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm so surprised by that. GM got back to the highs. Like look at the difference. Ford didn't have a back quarter. GM got back up to the highs, and Ford did this.
I'm gonna get a water.
Oh, never mind. Of course, as I say it, okay, when I last looked, Ford was at VWAP, and I guess eventually all things broke out. See, you could have just gone long, literally anything. Weak stock, strong stock, all the longs are good. Look at this VWAP hold breakout setup on Ford. It's only 15 cents, but 15 cents on Ford ain't bad. Can Boeing keep going? That rhymed. Boeing. All right. I voted red, and I don't think the market's going to get to green because we're still half a point down on the NASDAQ. But you know it's a strong day when Boeing is up 2%. This is the best day it's had in a month for Boeing, 2%. I know that's not really saying much, but it has to start somewhere for Boeing, right? It has to start somewhere. The last time it had a big move up, it was a horrible idea to buy it. So my approach is let it make some higher lows, let it break the 50-period moving average, but good for you, Boeing. Good question, Christopher. How does Intel earnings affect AMD? It's a double-edged sword there because while overall demand issues in the guidance for Intel obviously is going to affect, say, AMD because they're in the same sector, you have to remember that AMD's been eating Intel's lunch when it comes to data center. So you always have a situation where if their margins are poor and some metrics are bad and overall AMD is still executing a little bit better, it's not always a one-for-one that it's a bad thing because they could always be stealing some business or continuing to hold off Intel for some of the data center business. But in a general sense, lack of growth is not going to be good for AMD. There is a bit of a sympathy play, but it's not the easiest one to think about. So, I would always look for it, but I'm not going to be married to the notion that if Intel, what's the bed, that AMD necessarily has to be down. Just trade it off its own levels. It was just, okay, so Tesla was about to break 169. You could see it was right there. I'm like, I had my bid down in the 168, 33, well, 30, yeah. And now we're right back up to 70. So if it breaks 170, I'm just going to get out a couple cents above it. I don't want to hold back to the high. I don't want to reload the trade. I don't want to do anything, but either this works right here, right now, and I might even have to, I might just get out at 169 even if that's the best we can get. It's now 335 in here. There's still 20 minutes to go, 15 to the imbalances, but wow. Even when you think you've got a huge, look at the wick on that candle. Like if that short can't even get back to 168, how strong is that? That's insane. That's the kind of setup that is exactly the short you're looking for when you're trading. It's a parabolic move up, a wick down. I'm telling you, like that's the kind of setup you love that should be back at 168, no problem. Station to station baseball there, but nope. Instead, we're going higher. I'm out. So once again, it's not a bad trade. It'll actually be slightly positive, but the dip buy still would have been better somehow. Doesn't make any sense, but it's still going.
All right, muted. We just went and got a water here so we can relax a little bit and watch this market come to the downside because the more I sit here, the more I'm going to scalp out of this thing. We do have another, okay, here we go. We do have another bid down here for the TQQs to the downside. So we only have 15% of Tesla left, by the way. So we'll see if this can come back in a little bit for us, but I don't really care about that now. I'm just on this market tip. So we'll have to wait to see if we can get a little bit of a push down. This level here is 80s. So that's something, 88, something like that right now. All right. I do have a bid at 88, so we just bounced off that. I put another bid there at 80s. Maybe we can get down in now that we've seen that, and then the ultimate would be right into here, 52.50 would be a great out for us if we can get down there. We don't have to get too greedy here into the close. So that's one thing for sure, but we'll have to wait on that. 52.80. The out there. Yeah, okay, so Apple, let's go, man. Let's spin this one. Money. The TQs is going to be my PL1. I'm going to put another bid at 92. I can't stop myself. But Apple's starting to go to the downside right now. So let's take another out. There it is. We just punch out there at 60. So far, so good. Right now, Paramount is getting close to a merger, apparently, so we can see.
But it's going down, so it must not be a good deal, I'm assuming.
Yeah, nice move down there for Paramount. We've talked about Disney a little bit here as well. Nothing happening
What a mess.
there. Okay, market. Okay. Now we're starting to pull back in again here. Yes, sir. All right, let's go to Adara, and it's 337.
Lots of big movers in this market today. And the S&P 500, of course, especially with earnings. But we're going to talk about some of the names we haven't talked about making big moves, all of which are actually going to be in the health or biotech space today. First, we have Merck, MRK. This one beating earnings across the board, trading higher over 3% on a nice earnings report. Another earnings name here as well, Bristol Myers Squibb. BMY also trading a little bit lower, this one here, despite a nice earnings report. And last but not least, we have Pfizer trading to the downside here. This one actually not earnings related. GSK, according to Reuters, looking to pursue some legal action with Pfizer with regards to technology patent concerns. So PFE to the downside. Lots of big movers, of course, throughout the day, guys.
Pfizer might lose that 25 level. This is the pandemic. The 26 is the pandemic support for Pfizer. Yeah, this is going to be a give up the ghost for me underneath 25. I got to stop down there. Not at $24.99. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But if I zoom it out further, that's That's the pandemic low. We go all the way back to 2020. Now it's starting to pull back, but it's going to do it without me because Tesla was the one thing I still had left into the short side. Whoops, that's one too many. And it came right back above the 170 level. I could get back into this one. I just feel like this is, like Tesla's making higher highs, right? So why go back into the name that's making the higher highs? Took the shot at the 170. Thankfully, scalped some out and thankfully had a long in there, but it could always be better. It'll end up a green afternoon, but if it's only long, I think you guys get the idea. Like you'd make 4 or 5x if it was only long, whatever you made this afternoon. The news on Paramount, if it was going up, I'd care. But if you tell me they're close to some kind of a deal and it's tanking, that means nobody likes the deal. Yeah, like this is what's happening. I don't know what the details are here with Para. I just know that they turned down at one point a cash offer, and the shareholders must be pretty upset about that, clearly.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see what's happening here as we get Skydance getting involved here. Here it is right here.
That's tank.
Yeah, it's Skydance and Paramount inch closer to merger as key hurdle looms. That's on CNBC. So, yeah, that's not this story. It was right here. So Paramount and Skydance. So, yeah, we'll continue to watch out for that as this market fades back in again for us. I mean, we're pretty cruising now, guys. Like, what a... Not a nightmare or anything like that. I mean, the stock market's been very, very kind. But at the same time, like, it's like a heart attack waiting to happen because like, we were so close to this one not working out for us again on, well, not again, but like now it's P&L number 1 for me and it's not even close. So we were almost like dead red on this name. And then all of a sudden now the market just does not what we thought it would do, but you know, it came up to another level of 17.6 there. We actually, what gave me more confidence was pulling this out and just looking again at the longer aspect of this. But this is the problem with, wow, okay, our net is starting to do it now. But wow, Neil. Money, yes. Money. All right, here we go, man. Nice move to the downside. And we're spinning it as well all over the damn place right now. Apple's 50 cents in the money off a sticky note reload level. Tesla now $1 in the money as well, coming back in, maybe into this 169. Let's just take some out here. Why not? We have the opportunity to do that. We have enough shares on board. We'll spin that out right now. And we're starting to get lower and lower and lower. And this TQQ trade, she's a monster, but we like it. Let's go over to Adara. You got news?
I do have news on Paramount, so just clarifying that headline with regards to the key hurdle looming. The key hurdle in this potential Paramount and Skydance deal does seem to be apparently Paramount has an outstanding carriage renewal with Charter Communications. So I guess some tie-ups with Charter Communications potentially harming this deal, although it does sound like all parties are interested in final discussions for this Paramount and Skydance deal, according to this report from CNBC. Worth noting as well, they're actually looking to finalize terms of the deal by May, apparently. So keep an eye on PARA. If I see any other headlines resulting from this, I will let you guys know.
Thank you for that, Adara. You can see the price action. I mean, it's tanking, so you know that speaks for itself. Just don't assume if you act like an algo and hear deal and buy and don't get the real deal, like we just heard from Adara about the details, and you could get yourself in some trouble there. It is bouncing a little bit there, but the story's got to be finding those shorts. I backed off. I wanted to preserve the little we were able to make in the afternoon, but it was the right call to sort of just look for something that wasn't making a fresh high. Now, you got the cues that were cresting, but you had names that were kind of making higher highs the entire way through. I know AMD would have worked, but at the end of the day, it was still making higher highs. So I'm going to get out of that one and not try to keep fighting. Like, look at the trend back into the upside. That kind of would have worked. But if it's holding the same level, that's a lot different, or making lower highs, that's just a lot different from getting higher highs the entire way, because then you're just fighting.
Yeah, we did a good job getting out of something down there. I mean, as we were talking, we came right into the 200-period moving average. So, I mean, like I was saying, I just hope you guys are all seeing these trades because, like, there's Tesla, boom, out again down there. Apple, out again. Whoa, we missed that. We did put a bid down there, but missed it, so that's not a good out. So 169.40, we're right down there right now. That's where we were, and we missed it. Literally bounces, but that's kind of the trading that we're going to continue to try to do here. I'm just going to put a bid now at 53. Maybe we'll get that if it comes back in, and then we'll wait out for the rest of this trade to pan. So far so good here on the downside. Just waiting, like I said, to see if these TQs wants to continue its trek lower. So that would be nice if that was to happen. Now, which do you trade, Goog or Goog-L? I trade Goog-L. We've been doing that since the jump. This is a name that I love to trade, but we have no trades on it today, but tomorrow will be a different day. Yesterday, we absolutely had a fantastic day with Tesla. Today, not so good with Meta, but a couple great plays back in there. Good short again, Daryl, if you're still in that, off that high. I should have reshorted that. We were too focused on the market, but the market and Tesla's been good here, so I'm happy with that. But that was another good opportunity right there to get Meta off of that level that we already had. So I like looking back and seeing that like all these levels are holding and stuff, because it's just justifying you know, what my trading style would be. We do miss that trade there, but we reloaded this one. And now, as I said, it's not, you know, boom. That was a big one for me. We had probably, honestly, on the TQs, it's a $52 name. We probably had 6 or 7 times the shares on this that I would have had on Meta. So for me, we're happy what we're doing. Let's just continue this. It's 345. Everything's going to change when these imbalances come out. And what was it? I even missed what it was. Did we get it at 350?
No, we still don't get a total number, unfortunately.
Oh, we still don't get it. Okay.
But like if you just the early look on the New York numbers, like I'm going to say because Visa was a sell side and AT&T actually goes in the other direction, it looks like it's pretty mixed. You have TD with a buy, Verizon with a buy, then you get a couple of sells in VRT and PCG, but you know, overall it looks a little bit mixed. There's no big names early look. I mean, 400,000 for Uber. Like that's a name that we might care about, but none of the big cap tech names. All that changed at 350 when they all come in. And you know, your guess is as good as mine. Sometimes you get a sell imbalance when you've had this kind of a relief rally, just because profit taking on a rally up would mean sellers, and you could always see that. But yeah, no guess from me. The early look isn't really telling you anything on some of these individual names. Worth probably having one of the, I'll probably be looking at like a Google or a Microsoft at 350, just because those are the ones that report. Or maybe like a Roku. Like Roku should be, I kind of think Roku is going to be the wildest one in the aftermarket show. Like if there was a decibel meter, which I don't think we can do, if there was a decibel meter, like which symbol gets Sean the highest on the decibel meter, I think it's going to be Roku tonight. But that would be a guess.
No, I don't care about Roku. But I do think
I'm just talking about the excitement of how much it moves.
Nah. Because I'm not.
No?
I agree with you. I think it's going to move the most. But I'll be more excited about like the names I own. And the names I trade. I don't really, honestly, I don't have like an affinity for Roku, but I do think it's going to be wild. And do we have the earnings board? All right. Why you sound so sad about that? People love the earnings board. I mean, by the way, Fabian, like right now we're working on a brand new podcast room and everything. So Ramin is, lone wolf over there doing that. So yeah, we'll wait a second for that. There it is. Look how fast that came through. Wow.
We got some biggies.
No, the biggest one I'm going to be so excited about is Teladoc. What is TDC doing? Anyways, we'll have to check that out. All right, so just joking around on that one. Yeah, Roku. Here I am. Roku, Alphabet, whatever stock is called after the close. I really like that one. No, Intel, Microsoft. I mean, those are the ones, man.
It's
and then
huge.
tomorrow I own AbbVie. That should be exciting. So that's
I own Chevron. Who else we got tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I used to own Chevron XOM. I might still have some XOM. Other than that, though, yeah, wow. Tomorrow is energy, man. Wow, we're getting a lot of energy tomorrow morning. And so get your rest, get some energy, because tomorrow is coming full blast. But tonight is what it's all about, man. Intel. There's over 40% of the S&P 500 reporting this week. So it's a big week.
It's put up or shut up week.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of names are getting shut up, but then they're just coming right back up like Meta. Meta was like, no. We're not going to go down 20% like we were down here at 415 or whatever it was. Now we are at the price, not the time. Now we're all the way back up to 445 and looking to really take out the day's high again into the close. So what an impressive battle back for Meta. I feel like
not for Teladoc.
I feel like if I feel the same, yeah, I didn't even look at Teladoc. I feel like if I feel the same about Google or Microsoft, like they had a bad report, but a good report, but then a bad guide and some things that people don't like, I think we'll have to look for the long, because today they really bought this name and they bought it easily all day long.
Buy the dip.
Meta just keeps going. I'm just going to take some more TQs.
So just quickly for Teladoc, 16% short float and this daily chart. I mean, they probably don't have to do much.
Oh, I'm tired.
Like, you probably literally, like, come on, man. Like, you could sneeze and this thing could probably float up the way it's been heading to the downside. Like, Cathie Wood just has to hit buy once and Teladoc could fly. This is a weekly chart, not a daily chart, by the way, because it's important, I think, sometimes to be able to see really where it's come from. You don't get the same perspective if you only looked at a daily chart. Roku, with less than a minute to go, Roku's at the high of the day. I don't know exactly the timing on when they come out, but believe me, they're going to be rapid fire because you've got a bunch right at the close, and you're going to have to be like head on a swivel. But the imbalances are about to drop as the market is trying to drop. So you know what? If you voted that the NASDAQ was not going to go green, looks like that's going to end up winning. The NASDAQ is not going to get green, although it was an impressive rally.
Really?
No, but any way you cut it, that's a pretty bullish rally to end the day. But some profit taking, which would make a little bit of sense going into these big earnings that are about to drop soon. So let's see if the imbalances come out here. Not guessing what it's going to be. We'll just try to react if we see anything crazy. Maybe you get like a Roku or a Google, Microsoft with something now-ish.
The NASDAQ danced a bit.
Visa's there, but nothing.
We got out nicely of Apple right before. So that was good. We just got a 60 fill on Apple. We are getting very light on the NASDAQ. We'll put another bid there at 63. We'll take some out there again. Yeah. So I don't have any imbalances up.
320 million to sell is the total number.
Yeah,
nothing.
so kind of
absolutely nothing. Anything individual is pretty bunk.
Of nothing.
Micron at 900,000 to buy is loosely interested, but that's not even a million shares. Intel's not even a million shares, 790,000 to buy. Amazon's a buy of 750. So like there's some small buys for some of the big names, but that just means the bulk of it must be sell side here. And we said Visa's a nothing burger, right? Because Visa always pairs off. TLT. I don't know what it means, but the more volatility we have in the afternoon, the bigger the TLT imbalance is. It just sucks that there's nothing. I've never seen any trade here on TLT. That 6 million, and when you pull it up, that's the 20-year ETF. Like, it just never does anything. Like, you get all excited because, like, look at the size of that imbalance. Oh my goodness, it's only done 28 million shares, and it absolutely doesn't move. So, there's probably some logical explanation for that we just don't know, but it's worth ignoring. I wouldn't trade off that ever.
We're just looking at some notes for tonight. Yeah, 351. So we did, again, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just trying to watch out to see if there's anything that is going to happen. We are still only 40 cents in the money on Tesla, but we already got out of everything. We have 5% left now. Just holding out to see if we can get back in. I might as well. I got to clean everything up because I got to get over to the desk anyways. 169.20. We'll just put a bid down there. And how about just our stop order will just go in at a 170 break. We had a little bit higher than that, obviously, but now, as we got to get the heck out of here, 170.02. If it breaks that, we will mark it out of the rest of our position, which is 5%. So we'll wait, which is nothing. So we'll wait to see if that happens through. The TQs is doing nothing. And then Apple, we took advantage of that. Like we said, we only have 20% left, or no, less than that, 10% left of Apple. I got to keep track of how many shares I have. We'll put another bid here at 90, take some out, and just sort of empty this out. So good trading on Apple. Up on Apple today for sure. Up on the TQs. We're going to wait to see what happens. I mean, this Tesla trade's not going to be up on anything. Maybe we get it moved out. Maybe we break through that 160, 170 level. Snapchat was a flat trade today, which kind of sucks because we did have an opportunity to take out a lot down here, but it was only 10 cents. So we were in a good position. We were up on it. And then as it came back, we just kind of gave it back, and we held the last bit of it till 11:10 break. So there's that 10 cents back and wound up actually being a flat trade. Really, if Meta collapsed, feel like, and that's another one that I don't even have written down.
You know what pissed me off?
Snapchat.
No, what's pissed me off about Snapchat is this wick right here. Like it was kind of cruising, and I had reloaded off of yesterday's high, and I was getting some out, and I had to get up. It was it's 12:30. Like I'd just done like the lesson of the day kind of thing, and you would get up and go to the candle, that kind of stuff. I threw a stop at the high, thinking there's no chance like that's gonna fill. Had that bad wick out, and then made a little. That to me, this was a revenge trade. I don't usually revenge trade, but that's 100% a revenge trade. I ended up giving up I was up on Snapchat and gave up half of it, and all I had to do was not do this revenge trade back in. It's like, so what? You wicked out of the last 25%, but it's still trending higher. Why reload? It's little things like that. Like nobody is immune. I don't care who you are. You're not a robot, although. Maybe there's robots out there somewhere. Eventually, Optimus will be a thing, but you're not a robot. Revenge trading's true. I get a wick like that. I get pissed off. I jump right back in and give back something I shouldn't have on Snapchat. So you got to learn from those lessons. I know it was an easy one right there. Like the second it stopped out, I was like, yeah, that was pretty stupid. Why even bother doing that? And it's trend up. It could just be this stock is so badly beaten up and it wasn't going to make lows because of that. I think that's more the case here with Snapchat. It just underneath that 12 level. Apparently Zoom's doing something, but what do we have here? Zoom moving? No.
No, they're just saying that something about USC canceled some of their something. Okay, so we got out of Apple, we got out of Tesla. Tesla didn't even break. I just punched out. There, I got to go over, so we get out of the 80s there, so nothing kind of at the end of the day. Unfortunately, I do have to move over, so whatever happens here, happens here. The TQs, I'm just going to have to start to get out of this one again, as it's 3:55, so we'll just start to layer some of these outs down here. We're at the 200 period, so I'm fine with it. I do think the market has a chance to fall back in right now, but what are we going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. We got to get flat. So here we go. Thank you for watching me anyways. Neil will take us in for the next couple minutes. We'll be joined with Dara and then Danielle Shea on the recap show. So
on Microsoft Day.
Yeah, Microsoft. We got Microsoft, we got Google, we got Intel, we got Snapchat. Roku.
Why didn't you always forgetting Roku?
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right, Snap right there. I just want to make sure. Yeah, post-market April 25th. Yeah, so 8% short float on Snapchat should be exciting.
Oh my goodness, Snapchat. It's just, there's going to be so many movers tomorrow morning. As always, you make a plan, stick to plan, try to get into the same symbols. That's what it's all about there. Look, let's be real. Like today was a huge surprise. I don't care who you are. Like maybe there's some people that were long off of that bottom. I guarantee you there's always somebody that's super bullish in a situation like that, but certainly didn't see it coming. Had a couple of longs, and there's nothing that got held on to long enough. Keep it that simple. But I'll tell you, if we're not at least trying to go long in Alibaba tomorrow, I don't know what else to say. Like, how many days in a row does that have to do exactly the same thing? This is a good day for them. And what I also love about it, we only got 3 minutes to go. I just wanted to quickly point out, it's doing it when Pinduoduo is doing nothing. It's one thing when they're all going up. It's another thing when it's doing its own. Making its own move, and I love that about Alibaba. Like it's like it's grinding higher because of a lack of offer, whatever it might be. Chris with the Intel and rocket ships. Okay. I mean, it's up 1.6%. You know what the good thing is? If you're measuring not how far something flies up, in terms of the atmosphere or like how many feet it is off the ground, but you're just measuring how far it actually flies. Well, if you launch from below sea level, then you can get some impressive numbers without getting anywhere near the stratosphere, right? So Intel has a chance to launch from somewhere in, I don't know, the middle of the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and therefore it can get a nice little relief rally. I think that's certainly possible. I've been surprised by Intel moves after quarters that when you read it, it's like, what is even going on here? That's as bad as it could get, and then it's up 10%. But I'm speaking as somebody that sold 40% of my Intel position. Some of it was called away. I got called away here, and then I sold some at the 50 level, and I'm not buying until it gets to 25 or next quarter. That's just my approach. But you never know what can happen, man. Good luck to them. I'm never rooting that the stock goes to the downside. I've never been in that camp. Like, even if I think something is going to be bad, I'm never hoping it's going to be bad. I've never shorted anything in my personal account. I've sold covered calls, and that's about as far as I would ever get. Hope everyone's having fun here, because I'm just staring at a couple level twos. One of them is Tesla, which made another press to the high of the day. It's absolutely relentless Like, I cannot believe, had this one short on the breakout, it's like, let's go 67 to 68. That's me shorting and getting out for a small hit. That's me trying to short again. It was just a long this afternoon. We could have done so much better only going into the long. All in all, you know, I'm gonna be pretty happy that we managed to get away from the worst of it and be slightly up today. And most of that had to do with just having an Nvidia long. But the shorts, they were dumpster fires. You just had to find a way to be getting out of them where you could. You know, that's the best you can do. If you have a stop, that was lesson of the day. If you have a stop, adhere to it. That's very, very important. If you're waiting for a key price level, do not try to short before it gets there if it's against the grain. I think you can get into so much trouble. Appreciate you, Steph B. DJK, Tesla 138 to 170 is amazing. What would be more amazing is if it could get to 1,000, like Kathy Wood said. She's made some promises I'd like some stocks to keep. I just recently bought Tesla 151, that's all. But you know what's good, and the market is good every single day because it either makes you money or gives you opportunities to, and at a bare minimum, if you're not learning from the market, then I think you're missing out on a huge opportunity because every single day we're learning something. I know I learned a lot today, especially with that revenge trade on Snapchat. But Adara in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Ye market is closed. The NASDAQ did not go green, but it was an impressive rally nonetheless. 0.6 to the downside is the NASDAQ. The ES 0.5. I want to say. So, you know, overall, it's an impressive rally. We have Tesla finishing up 5%. That was insane. Big shout out to Fabian and Ramin. Fabian was working on the new room. Fantastic. Fabian and then leaving Ramin there to do her own thing. Great crew, as always. Can't wait to see you when that's on board for the podcast. It's a great looking room. You guys are going to love it. But big shout out to the midday, Sharif and Adara, as always, kicking butt. But hey, you got big earnings. Let's not waste any time. You know who I am. You got Adara at the desk. You've got Sean at the desk. You've got Trader staying late for Google, Alphabet. I should say Alphabet. Microsoft and Roku. Let's go.
All right, Microsoft is a banger right now. Welcome to the recap show. Thank you, Neil. There it goes. Microsoft up to 415. We're starting to go upside right now on Microsoft, so the earnings are now out.
Yeah.
Microsoft up to 416 and starting to go. Nice move up there for Microsoft. We will get these exact numbers for you. Don't worry about it right now.
Okay.
Intel right here starting to go up to the upside as well. No, Intel cranked there. Sharif wins again. When does this guy ever lose? Oh, yeah. Forget about that. We'll talk about that after. Nice downside move here for Microsoft is getting killed right now. Down to the downside. Intel getting killed. Downside down to $33. Killed, it's down 4%. Let's wait to see what happens there. Microsoft is the name that we're most excited about, up to 420. So Adara, give us those numbers.
Yes, please. Okay, so we have Q3 revenue, $61.9 billion versus the expected $60.8 billion. That's a beat. We also had, what else did we have here? We had quarterly increases, 21% in quarterly revenue for Intelligence Cloud. Quarterly revenue for productivity and business up 12%. All I'm seeing here are increases. Personal computing also increased by 17% here. They returned $8.4 billion to shareholders through share repurchases. All of this is positive.
Perfect. Next time, let's share her screen, what she's reading, so everybody can see that. All right, right now, Intel, just to give you the Intel numbers, right now, Intel beats 18 cents versus 14 cents. Sales, 12.7, missing. They miss on sales. Let's figure out what's happening right now with the guide. So it has to be something about their guide. So we'll have to wait to see this one right now. Microsoft upside. Here's Intel right here in my ear. Loss of 5 cents for Q2, so that's not going to be good. So we're going to see what's going on with Intel right now to that downside. Google is now out. All right, so Google, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please come again. Yes, sir. We talked about this one for Google. Watch out now. We said this was the beat of the day, and there it goes, Google. We're going to go 3 for 3, man. Tesla upside. Yesterday, Meta downside. Today, Google upside. Yes, sir. Boom for Google. Our largest holding goes boom right there. Up 7%, Adara. I guess, hey, I guess they're not that bad in the AI game after all. Google right now up 19% year to date and starting to say, what past high. 171, 172. Google is rocking. Gap EPS 189 right now, beating 151. Estimates of 80.5, crushing sales at 80.5, crushing 70.5. Wow, we are. Oh my God, $70 billion buyback?
Yeah.
Is that what we're hearing right now? Google $70 billion buyback right now. So if you're holding Intel right now, sorry, it's Google's world and we are all living in it. Nice move to the upside. Wow, Adara.
Yeah, I mean,
What
Google,
a difference a day makes. Yesterday, we're like wondering what's up with Meta. Today, it is an instant disaster for Intel. It's a nice move for Microsoft. It's a nice move for Google. And yes, sir, what a good day to be long.
yeah, especially these mega caps, both Microsoft and Google here making some nice moves. But Google,
Let's go.
that $70 billion buyback, also announced like a 20-cent dividend. We know what buybacks and dividends did for Meta, not this quarter, but the quarter before.
Let's go.
Q4 2023. So we know the market does like dividends and buybacks. Google, Alphabet overhearing that and giving the people what they want. They're also, yeah, that massive revenue, massive EPS beat. Really strong look here, much like Microsoft for GOOGL.
All right, let's go. Thank you, everybody, for watching right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tell us how good we are doing with these earnings. Thanks to Ms. Adara here as well. Over 4,300 right now watching us. Thank you so much for coming through one more time. And it's Microsoft. It's a banger, up to 421 right now. But the story of the day, in my opinion, continues to be Google. Huge move up, man. We are still going. It is now 9%. This is a double-barreled beat right now. Expected move on this, 5%. Google right now up 10. What a good day to have Miss Danielle Shea come through. This is a monster earnings out right now. Thank you to everybody who's here right now. What's up to Brad, Patrick, D-Loaf? Yeah, if we get anything else out, we are going to come with that. Intelligent cloud revenue up 21% for Microsoft. The cloud wins again. Nice move up. I expect Amazon to be up. Boom! We expected Amazon to be up on this move, Adara. And there it goes. Amazon taking out that 180. Wow. Oh my God, we maybe be eating some lobster tonight, man. These moves are upside. And I was like, whoa, on all of this.
Yeah.
You know, slow down. Let's see where these earnings are going to come. Is the market due for a pullback, or are we just dip buying? And the Qs say, hold the beer again. The NASDAQ was down at one point today, over 1.5%. They ended the day down 0.7%, something like that, 0.5. And now the NASDAQ says, thank you, Sir Softy. We've been calling this thing Mr. Softy from the jump. Nice move back up there to the upside. If anybody's in Teladoc right now, bang for Teladoc. Nice report there for T-Doc right now coming through. Q1 there, EPS missing, but better than expected, I guess. No, that's a miss. The sales were better on Teladoc. Nice move. Neil's favorite name is now out. It's your boy Roku, and let's see what's up with that one as Neil goes home and plugs in his Roku. Neil, you know you have one, and boom for Roku, Neil. It's 12%, and it is an upside move. Neil doing cartwheels over there. Get the camera on this guy. 35 cents beats versus minus 35. No, Neil's getting off his makeup. Ouch, Neil. Roku is trash coming from Neil. Not today, though. 35 cents versus 62. They beat, but still losing money, so Neil's not going to be wrong on that one. Sales, a huge beat on the sales side of it. But Roku for right now, Adara, monster move up. It's 13%. Looks like they win again there for Roku one more time. But I'm most impressed with Google. Give me something I don't know, Adara.
I mean, with that Google, I will say this is one that I mentioned on Monday that I was excited about as well with Google. I thought that it could be interesting, a chance for them to redeem themselves with those snafus with AI. The stock was strong going into it. I'm seeing if I have any guidance out here. But yeah, I think the main thing with their 20-cent dividend, expecting to pay quarterly cash dividends in the future. So that's definitely a nice look as well. Not just dividends, but quarterly dividends there for Alphabet. Also, yeah, we had that massive EPS beat, massive sales beat as well. $70 billion for Class A and Class C shares. Buyback opportunities there. I'm going to see if there's anything else coming out of this name here. But yeah, I mean, really nice look, I think, across the board for GOGL. Roku, also worth noting, they had stronger than expected guidance as well here for ROKU. $935 million for total net revenue for Q2 projection versus $931.42 million expected. So higher than expected revenue projections here for ROKU.
Whew, man, this is, I mean, Google is still going right now. There's a couple things out now as well. Atlassian Team is now out as well. Another decent name here on the market cap front and on a nice little move to the upside. 32 billion in market cap for Team here. Atlassian Corporation to the upside there as well. BYD is Boyd Gaming, so that's not the one that we're all worried about right there. But there goes Roku again. Nice upside move for them. Up to 69er. Let's go over and check out what Microsoft is doing. 420. Puff, puff, pass on that. So we'll have to wait to see where that's going now. But again, if we're going to talk about Microsoft, there it is. I want to see what Danielle has to say about this, because that top right there at 428, we actually didn't even come close to that. So Microsoft right now, actually the implied move was 5 right now. So we are underneath that. Let's drop a little anchored VWAP here at its last earnings, right down there, 405, 406. So what was once down in the dumps today, down sub 400, now up to 418. She is a nice one.
You got Snapchat in here.
Microsoft. We have Snapchat in here. What do we got for that?
Yes, we do. So revenue,
Oh my.
Yeah, this was a bit of a miss here for Snap. Quarterly infrastructure cost per daily active user, 83 to 85 cents. Here, let's see what else is coming in.
Gary, would you think Snapchat was up or down on that report?
I would assume it's down.
It's up 23%. What is going on? Snapchat just ripped up to $14 right there. Snapchat is absolutely ripping on this one. Loss of 19 cents, I'm hearing. We'll get this all. As soon as we get it, we'll go back. But it's so far so good here.
Oh, it was an EPS beat.
On Snapchat, yeah, so we'll get it for you, and we'll come right back with all of that as Snapchat right now popping nicely to the upside. Wow, what a day we have right now. There's the tick right here for Snapchat, coming right back into 13 and change. If you have a bottle of water near you, let's have one right now. It's Hydration Nation, Adara, let's go. You know, we put on the best shows with Brankles. We put on the best shows with Obi. We put on the best shows with Randy. Now we're doing it again here with Miss Adair, and I want to thank you for joining me, Adair, and I want to thank everybody else for joining us as well, because without everybody, we don't got anybody. And we are about to soon have Miss Danielle Shea coming through. So let's just have a quick look at some of these other names. So Snapchat continues to go. Get the big ones numbers, and we'll review them, okay?
Oh, sorry. So they
ahead,
beat on Snapchat. Yep. I think that's probably what moved them up. 3 cents earnings per share versus negative 5 cents expected. So surprise profit here for Snapchat. Also, sales of 1.19 billion versus 1.12 billion expected. So there was a beat here. They also saw a 10% increase in daily active users. So some of these numbers not too bad here for Snapchat.
Let's see if Meta has any tailwinds here, because, okay, no. That was easy. All right, that won't take too long. I thought maybe on that Snapchat there was a chance that potentially Meta possibly going higher there. Google continuing its move. The only problem with Google here, let me just double check this. I don't think there is no air up here. I just want to go to a weekly chart just to see something. So there's that push there on a weekly. We've really taken out these highs, man. That 150, we came back in just the other day and held it. Like, as you zoom back out there, why is Amazon moving is what I want to know. So Google looking for that high. When does Google report? April 30th, so next week. So again, on a good report from Google and Amazon, hold on a second, we got to go back into a 1-minute chart. I could see this one starting to go up because we got that good report from Microsoft Cloud. So we know Amazon is there with AWS. Google, obviously a strong cloud play as well. We will break more of these numbers down for you in just a couple minutes, but there it is right now. I want to say a big thank you to Trader Nick. If I just, if this, hold just made 20K on Google thanks to Miss Danielle Shea. 20 grand. Hello.
Indeed.
That's not bad. I mean, yeah, I made 50 grand. No, I didn't make anything. That's a great call right there. Thank you, Miss Danielle Shea. I'm not sure what call she made on Google. Maybe she'll know. And we'll discuss that when ready for that one. But we are excited to have Ms. Danielle Shea coming on board in just a second. So, Adara, let's start to review a little bit. So, the big one here, do you have the Intel numbers? Let's look at those.
Yes.
We're down to $32. Intel's down 5%. And in just a matter of 2 minutes after we review this, we'll get Danielle on here and see what she wants to talk about. So give us Intel quickly.
Oh yeah, I'll give you guys the Intel and Intel. I think the biggest thing is extremely weak projections here.
Okay.
But 10-cent EPS for Q2 projection versus 24 cents expected. So that's less than half of what the expected analyst expectation was there. Revenue also weak here. 12.5 billion. They're seeing 12.5 billion to 13.5 billion here versus 12.68 billion expected. I saw somewhere else they were expecting more than $13 billion in revenue. So either way, these revenue expectations a bit weaker than the overall market consensus here. But they did beat on EPS for this quarter, 18 cents versus 14-cent estimate. They missed though on revenue, just barely 12.72 billion versus 12.78 billion expected for Intel. I think Google though, that's the main story. The dividend and share buybacks.
What dividend news?
Oh, Google, 20-cent dividend.
They
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, said that. Yeah. They have a dividend.
So we saw what happened with Meta there, instituting that dividend. I'm not sure. I should know if Google had a dividend before. Something is telling me they did have a small one, but it could have been a special dividend that they had released before. So there it is right now. Thank you so much, Dragos, right there. Yes, up 17 grand there on Google. Without any further ado, if she's ready, I could be no more ready. It's going to be Trader Talk with Danielle Shea. So let's throw over. Here it is. Okay, hey Danielle, ooh, we got the blue on right now today. Is that big blue for IBM, or that was not a great report there from IBM, but what a good day today. We just had a couple plays out. You were here last week talking about Meta. How did that trade work out?
Man, I kind of screwed up my Meta trade. I had a great trade on it. I was targeting 450 and I got out a little bit too early this morning. I got a double, which was okay, but I needed more. So
Danielle, I didn't do that well. I just doubled.
Well,
Wish I had those problems, Danielle. Okay, I don't know what was going on with Google, but what a quarter that was. And there's been a few traders in our chat, and I know you've been listening to that have absolutely destroyed this name. I feel like that was some great calls that you and I have talked about on this before, and especially some of the stuff that you were mentioning, bouncing off some of these key levels, holding this move, and then if you go out to a weekly, it even looks better on a longer time frame, in my opinion. We really held that 150, and now it's up and away. The Danielle Shea method, from what I know and I've been teaching everybody, is that when you get an outsized beat like this, we could potentially see an extended move tomorrow. How does Google look in your opinion?
That's right, Sean. And this one's looking great. This is just the daily chart that I have without the overnight data. And, I had a target at 170 on it. And right now, during this overnight session, we're up twice the expected move, up into 177. Your expected move on this stock was only about $9 or $10. So this is a huge move. My next price target is going to have to be 190 up into 200. This is a stock that I've been buying for a long time. I have to tell you, though, I was hesitant about this earnings report because we've seen Meta get smashed. We've seen Netflix, Taiwan Semi get smashed. So the fact that this company is doing so well in this environment is absolutely amazing, and it's going to be great for the NASDAQ tomorrow.
Yeah, we're still starting to go upside. We just saw the NASDAQ up 0.9 right now in after hours. But this is the story of, I guess, a different market. Sometimes you can come in the morning, and today it was looking pretty bad for Meta. But as you probably noted as well, as you were trading it with your options, and you mentioned that butterfly there a couple of times last week, but Meta started the day kind of in the dumps down there at 416, and then they just bought it up. This 200 period really got going there. I like the fact, Danielle, that we talk about an increase of spend for AI. I think we can trust Mark here because he's done well for us before, buying some of these dips. We saw Meta go down 70% in the past. I think spooked a lot of traders, but these are different times, right? The market seems to have a footing here.
Yeah, you know, Sean, I'm a little surprised at the Meta move just because it was such a huge move. You know, typically when you see twice the expected move, it's not going to recover. And so what that tells me is that when we had this overnight move of about $100, when you had the expected move at $40, that was just a little bit of an overreaction, because what we had this morning is, I mean, we had traded all the way down. Well, during the overnight session, we traded into 400. But during the cash session, we were down at 415. I had a 450 butterfly and I thought, there's no way this thing is going to come back. So I wanted to get the debit out of it that I already paid. And yeah, I mean, it came back perfectly, which just goes to show that, you know, typically a lot of these stocks are going to stay around their expected ranges, and 450, I mean, that was the expected range. So the fact that it recovered really well, I think points to exactly what you're saying, that people kind of realize, okay, maybe what he's saying isn't that bad.
Yeah, I feel like at some point you got to just sort of let it go a little bit. And I actually is going to go, I sold some Google and Meta a couple days ago. It looks like bad decision on one and okay on the other. I'm going to put you to work a little bit here, Danielle, because what is going on with Snapchat? Snapchat right here is up 34%. The thing about this is it's reminding me a little bit of when you and I talked about Affirm. We have 8% on the short float right now for Snapchat. It is starting to get like way up. We've already taken out this level on the daily that we had an issue with up and in around 12. You want to talk about an extended move. I thought Snapchat was in and around 9%. You probably have it on your screens, but I want to fade this name. And I think with a high short float, and again, off of some of that negativity from Meta and some of that spend, I love the short in and around this $16, $17 range. Are we looking to get up there tomorrow, or maybe this move is perhaps too extended?
So it looks like the expected move is about $2.50, and you know, you're up a little bit more than that right now, but not substantially more. So for me, I would just have to see where it gaps in the morning. If it gaps up $5 or more, that's when I would start to say, okay, maybe we don't want to short it quite yet. But honestly, it's all about the trade at market open. If you want to short something that gaps up like that, you just really need to watch the first 15-minute range. And if it gaps up, creates a wick right at the top, right at a critical resistance zone, like you're mentioning around 16, and then you start to see it rolling over, yeah, short it.
Yeah, okay, I think that's a good trade for tomorrow. We'll see. Now up 35%, yeah, $4 move against your 250. So we'll see if that can get going again. All right, we've talked about some of these plays that have already happened. Is there anything right now, Danielle, that potentially is on your radar into the upcoming weeks? We have AMD coming through next week, and then Nvidia might be something that you're looking at, because we're just in that sort of fun zone right now for options. Is there anything you're looking at right now that some of our traders might want to dive in with?
So, you know, for me, Sean, it really depends on if these Google and Microsoft moves hold.
Okay.
And I think right now it's looking pretty good right now. So we have Microsoft that has come up. It's just shy of 420. If we can get Microsoft and Google to both gap up tomorrow, and specifically if Microsoft can be up above 415, where you have that critical resistance, that's going to be a great sign and an opportunity for us to go long stocks like Amazon and Nvidia, because that's just going to give us some more positive momentum. AMD is the one that's been a little bit lackluster, but I think that the one I would focus on the most is going to be Amazon, and then actually probably Apple as well, because that one's been recovering pretty well. But if you look at Amazon's already held the 100 simple on the daily chart. It's holding that 165 price point. You know, you've already recovered up into 180 during the overnight session. So look at this. If you can gap up above 180, you're up above resistance at that point, and you're not that far away from trading to that previous all-time high. So I think Amazon's going to be the number one spot I can focus, along with maybe Apple, maybe Nvidia, maybe Tesla. Okay, fine. There's a few spots.
I was gonna say I feel like that's what I do with the sticky note every day. I just come in, I'm like, okay, where's Apple, where's Google, where's Amazon, and all that, because I really think that that's what we should be doing, and I think that that's what you do as well. Focus in the areas that you have experience trading in, because then we can analyze these moves based on past experiences as well. All right, I know you don't have a Cybertruck, but like, what a report, what a crazy movement we had there for Tesla over the last couple days. I mean, everyone got super scared down here, Danielle, that we were looking to break through that 150, and we did that, and we did that pretty easily. And we got all the way back into this 140 area, which who knew that it was gonna stop there, to be honest with you. But now you're almost all the way back up to 50 simple. You and I like that indicator, I believe. That's in there and around this 175 area. I think this is a story for a year and a half, 2 years from now, when we finally do see some of these new vehicles on the road. I'm a little bit worried. I'm not worried about manufacturing with Tesla. I'm a little worried about the EV market and demand for some of these names. Now that we're into India a little bit, taking some reliance away from China. What says Danielle Shea about these Tesla calls potentially, or are we getting a little too exhausted to the upside? I say we are.
So I think it just depends on your time frame. As far as trading is concerned, this bounce has been really nice.
Yeah.
When you get that big gap up after earnings, it typically continues, which is what's happening here. And today, you had another 5% up move, especially because in this name, you had a lot of people short. So I think that for the very short term, we can probably keep trading it up into maybe 180, but we'll have to see if it breaks 180 when it gets there or not. As far as the long term, I mean, Tesla's had a lot of problems recently. You'd really have to recover up above probably 225 before the long-term charts start to look good again. But, the stock is volatile. It can happen. It can move. And I still think the future will be bright, even though right now it's been a little lackluster.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, look, you can only produce so many cars with so much demand. Let's wait to see the Tesla story. And again, when you have a vision like that, hopefully we'll be able to. I was actually, what do you think about like getting rid of some Uber? Because I was looking at Uber and I'm kind of thinking that if this guy's going to, and I don't know if you heard the comparison, we used to have, I think it was Elon that said this because I was listening to someone, about an elevator, how we used to have these sort of elevator people that when you get into an elevator men, women, and you would say, floor 5, fine sir, and then he would push floor 5, and then you would get up there and come back down, and then eventually it just became we push the buttons ourselves. So you get rid of the Uber driver, and then all of a sudden, you have a bunch of these robo-taxis everywhere. I look at Uber, Danielle, and we've been pulling back in a little bit. I was pretty bullish on this name. I'm trying to change my attitude about it. I still like the AI aspect of this, and I'm just not sure what my opinion is on Uber. So I ask yours. My macro is a little cloudy, potentially technical. Are you seeing anything here with Uber?
So, the weekly chart still looks pretty constructive, but the daily chart has shifted like, pretty much everything else right now. So when you see this shift in pattern where you're going from this nice bullish trend and then you start to break down, you break below the 50 simple, and then you break below the 100 simple, really on a shorter term basis, I mean, that's a short because after you break the 100 simple in these critical support zones, it could go all the way down into here at 58. That being said, it's going to largely depend on if the NASDAQ can hold and the NASDAQ can bounce here. Maybe we get a positive reaction post Google, post Microsoft, even post Amazon into next week. And that's the low. That would be a great situation. I don't think it's super likely, but I would prefer that situation.
Yeah, I would as well. Today we had energy moving around a little bit. We saw Enphase the last little while there. Yeah, I was looking at the cues here. Nice move up in after hours for the NASDAQ and holding highs. So I think that that's pretty important up there at 530, 430, the price right there. And actually, the time is similar to the Q's price right now. Isn't that funny? Okay, Ms. Danielle Shea, we got to get ready to get out of here, but I know that you're always putting new content up there on your YouTube page. Did you get a chance to post anything new for the viewers this week?
I did. I posted a couple new videos. I was just on Fox right before I joined you.
Never heard of it.
And I also posted a new video about how to trade earnings using Vol Crush. So I posted a trade yesterday based off of my Visa trade. I also posted a couple different butterfly trades here. We've got a Tesla one, 295%, another Tesla trade from last week. And I just finished recording an SPX 0 DTE trade that I was going to post this evening.
All right, so check that out. We have a lot of interest in those DTEs. So maybe next time, if you do have an example of a trade that you've made, we can cover it live right here on the recap show. Okay, it's always a pleasure of ours to have you on, and I'm glad that you continue to come through. I want to make sure that everybody checks you out on X and on YouTube. It's Miss Danielle Shea. Thank you so much for joining us on what was a very exciting evening.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao, that's Miss Danielle Shea. See?
Yeah, that was the.
You know, we get it done, and we just basically crushed a good recap show. But the thing that's getting a little crushed now, and we talked about that with Danielle, can Microsoft hold these highs?
Well, I actually have some thoughts on this. So for one, I think the reason maybe that Google, I was thinking about this, the reason that Google did maybe so well in terms of the market reaction is because I think we expect less of Google than we expect of Microsoft. We expect a lot of Microsoft. They have OpenAI, they have Satya Nadella, and I think with Google's AI struggles, the fact that it did so well, that it also announced dividend and buyback, that's something the market is more willing to respond to. Also worth noting, Microsoft hasn't released its guidance yet. It's going to release its guidance at its conference call at 5:30. So that could be a little bit interesting, I think, to see.
Yeah, that's more than interesting. That is actually a fantastic point. A lot of the market has been moving on guidance, right? Like we saw Meta give a great quarter, but then they didn't like what they had talked about with the CapEx and then the move there. But Google, that one's been holding, and I'm really, really excited to this one. Let's check our long-term accounts after this and be pretty happy with that, up 9+%. But as we said, man, what can go up can also go down. And we did have a bad report yesterday from Meta. And that's the gap down for Meta. Google's the other way. So again, you kind of get lucky with one and maybe not with the other, but that is what earnings are all about. And I know that you've just started trading live, and you said something very important today, that there's not that many traders around here. And I always, for some reason, people are always like, oh, you shouldn't trade your P&L. But now you're seeing, imagine, you get excited there, and I think you and Sharif are doing fantastic, but you're like, oh, wow, like this is like $1 in the money, and then you get all jittery, right? Like today, we had trades like in Meta that are $6, $7, $8 in the money. So what do you feel about trading some of these earnings calls and potentially looking for bigger winners now that you're in live?
That's a good point, and I think it's something I want to do, and I think as well, I find just in general, and maybe this is true of all traders, but I feel like more comfortable in a trade, and be like I'm able to execute the trade better if I see a level I really, really like. So I think if I see anything on these earnings plays tomorrow and going into next week with Apple as well, AMD as well, then I think, I'm absolutely willing to get involved as long as I take it appropriately with A, a level I'm comfortable with, B, a style and strategy I'm comfortable with, and C, a share size I'm comfortable with.
Look up for me XOM quickly, because did XOM come out?
Tomorrow morning.
No, April 26th pre-market. Good look right there. I saw someone here, Bears versus Bulls, just asked me XOM earnings, and I was like, I don't know. We had this move down there. I think this might have scared people, down from 120, 150 down to 120 there. But you are right, it is that day. Quickly before we go, guys, just a quick little review, and then we'll do roll call. We're not going to do sticky note reviews. We'll have the sticky note up tomorrow. We have so much happening right now. Thank you to Arcan here for the super chat. I missed out on Tesla, but I couldn't resist to switch from Microsoft to Google. Thank you, legends. You're already a legend, Adara.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I don't know if you've been trading for however many years, you've been rocking the market recap, but I'm just happy to be here with all of you guys. Day 4, this is awesome. This is so fun.
Perfect point right here from pro day trader. Intuition is everything. There's actually, in my opinion, not much else. You got to feel the trade. You got to be able to think about what you want to do and then execute it, and execute it with confidence. I know that's something you talk about all the time. All right, here we go. What's up, Michelle? Roku's bouncing around, but we're going to do a quick little roll call. All right, quickly here, I'll get everyone into the chat. This is your chance. I will start to yell at you in a couple seconds. Roku bouncing nicely, man. That was a great report. And then Neil said it was trash, and then all of a sudden it went from 70 all the way down to 60. And now we will find out what does happen with Roku tomorrow. But again, a very, very violent one. Neil said this one would move the most, and it's actually flat right now on the day. So that, oh, it moved. No. There is no doubt about that one. The winner of the day, though, before we do the roll call, is Snapchat. Snapchat now up 27%. Google, the best name, because I think like this, most people are in this. Google up 9. Micro MSFT. Did I just screw that up? Yes, I did. MSFT right now holding for it at 415. That one's scaring me because we don't have that call yet. And then shout out to Sharif that will be happy to roast Neil tomorrow as I have some of the setting powder, I think, in my eye. Ramin told me that's what it's called, setting powder. All right, a lot of people waving, so it's roll call. Let's do this again. All right, Intel got complacent. You may be right on that one. Shout out to Zeus. Right there, roll call. Pro Day Trader, the Piper's here. Mike Breeze is here. Mitchell Burden is in the building. What's up, Mitchell? Ponzi's here. Caputi, electronic music producer. The Nathan Williams is here. Small Goblin's here. Jam Low-Key, I guess is here.
I don't know.
Bang, bang, yeah, good one. Derek S. is here. Hugh is here. Bbot 5000, The Piper, Silverado, VM Mark, James, Mike Breeze, Mike L, Ponzi, Bonzi. Any plans tonight?
I might go to the mall. I went to the mall yesterday and then didn't buy anything and then was like, I should have bought things. So now we've wasted even more time. We're going to have to go back tonight. What about you?
Is that what you're doing? Just going to the mall and just saying, like, I want to buy something? Because I feel like that's what I do, too.
Right? Because it's like you don't want to buy. And then I realized, oh, the sale actually ends today and I do want that thing. So now we're going to go back. I don't live far from the mall. I just don't like going to the mall. What about you? What are your plans?
Yeah, so my son starts his summer 5-on-5 hockey league.
Summer hockey?
Oh, yeah. It's not even stopping. It is. I was looking. I don't have a free day till I think it was like May 15th or something. It's insane. Every single night. But hey, you live the life, man.
Yeah. You love it. So
you gotta love it. You gotta love what you're doing. All right. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to Adara. Thank you to Danielle Shea. You know,
of course,
so many ideas, making our viewers rich every single day. Apparently, over 20 grand that one guy made on that.
That's amazing.
I'm not trading with enough shares. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We're both back tomorrow. Rise and shine at 8:30. I'm Trader TV Sean. This is Miss Adara. And we will see you on the flip side tomorrow at 8:30. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Fabian.
Thank you.